Hey everybody, welcome to Frame Trap. I'm your host Brad Ellis, and I'm joined by my co-host as always, Michael Damiani.
Hey, what's up? Hey. More Resident Evil 4.
Always, dude.
Always.
It never stops. And we got a special guest this episode. Some guy, you may have heard of him. His name's Kyle Bosman, right?
That's correct, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Nailed it.
Of course, everyone knows Kyle, dude.
Actually, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those of you who aren't familiar?
Sure, yeah, I'm just another person who talks about video games all week.
In a sea of a million people.
Yeah.
But Kyle, what is going on, man? How's everything going with you?
Good. So I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina still. I just moved a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
Because I was forced to.
Oh.
I moved from one apartment in a complex to like a different apartment in the same complex. But I'm like easing in, which is why, you know, the office isn't complete here if you're watching the video of this podcast. But like, I'm feeling good about it finally. You know what I mean? It takes a second. I think, Damiani, you moved to recently, right?
Yep, I just moved about a little under a month ago. So having that same feeling was not within the same complex, was, you know, from one town to another town. So a bit of a move.
How long did it take for you to feel normal?
I still don't. Actually, literally this weekend, I got up at one point and I'm like, man, this still doesn't really feel like home right now. Like it, you know.
You mean when you open your eyes when you first wake up?
No, it's not that disorienting, but like it's
okay.
more of like a general vibe where a level of comfortableness where I'm not quite there yet, where it's still a little odd, but you know, starting to feel a little bit more secure. I will say the nicest thing is it's all wood floors, and I don't know if you've had any similar experiences, but also as a cat parent as well with my cat Cloud, he used to, whenever he'd vomit on the old carpet, it was a nightmare to clean up. Now it's like very easy and it's super nice to like not have to freak out about carpet management anymore.
All right. I mean, this is a bad note to start any podcast on, but you've been there a month and a half, you said. How many vomits have you cleaned up?
Oh, like 3.
That seems like a lot to me. That seems like a lot.
You also know my cat's like 16 and a half years old. So
okay,
he also,
He's an old boy.
yeah, he vomits every now and then. Like he has a thing where he gorges, where he eats too much. So like I have to be very...
Gorge, dude. What a funny word.
I mean, it's
accurate.
It's the medical term that the vets use.
I got that too, man. I have the same thing.
For people to know, when I'm at work on the days I come in, usually Tuesdays, Thursdays, or extra days, my roommate, who's very nice, takes over for feeding, but he obviously, you know, is not going to be as precise or meticulous as I am. So sometimes on those days, Cloud gets a little bit too much food, and so I'll come home and I'll see maybe a little bit of a mess. But like on days that I'm there, usually it doesn't generally like happen. So like, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Like I just, you know, he needs to be able to eat. Otherwise it's worse if he doesn't eat. So, and it doesn't happen, as I said, like maybe once every other week it happens. So at most.
So you're saying because your roommate is being so nice, you won't be like, hey man, that was a little bit too much food.
I'm not, because I tell him what to do. Like I'm not going to like, man, like, set your alarm for like 2 hours, every 2 hours to feed him or something.
I get it, yeah.
Like he's got work and stuff too. Like it's like, like it's kind of like pushing the boundary there a little bit for, you know, the social norm, I feel like. Kyle liked that word.
Not easy. Yeah. It's not easy taking care of these cats.
Oh yeah, like when they were cats are younger, it's much easier. Like you literally just leave out food and they're good for the day. You know, when they get older, you know, they're a little bit more needy. That's all. You know, but wouldn't trade it for anything.
Someone wrote in for you guys to talk about cats.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even take the question because I knew it was going to come up anyways.
Oh,
and
it
came up in like 2 minutes.
All right.
Like immediately.
Well, that's one. Check that off.
Right before we started filming, Damiani, there's some breaking news that you told us about. Can you just read what was said?
Yes.
The PlayStation, what is it? State of Play?
Yeah, there will be a State of Play this Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Right. It looks like it's over 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16
20 minutes? Wow.
Gameplay.
Okay. Gameplay.
They had a big blowout at PAX.
They did.
Recently. and they did like an event that you
I went to.
Yeah, so they've been kind of like blowing it out lately, you know,
because they're confident in this game,
and
dude.
they announced it like it's done, like
and
gold.
they should be.
Yeah, they're rating pretty high on that game right now.
Yeah,
I feel
Kyle,
like.
what are you feeling about 16? You love Final Fantasy like us. How are you feeling about it?
It's weird. I feel just okay. I was thinking
okay?
about like Final Fantasy hype cycles, right?
Sure.
And like, you know, like 13 hype to oblivion, 12 kind of low key. You know, like Final Fantasy 10 hype to oblivion. And so it's more on like that Final Fantasy 12 scale of like, you know, it's just you're happy it's coming out, but you don't think it's going to revolutionize anything.
Interesting. I remember 12 being pretty hyped as well. It just took a little bit longer to come out. It was like the first one, it had like a major delay because of the director's departure and they had to step in. But I feel like, I get in looking back, maybe 12 wasn't as big of a deal. Like 10 was the first one on PlayStation 2, 13, the first one on PlayStation 3 and 360. That was a big deal, right? Going cross platform. So I guess, I think you're kind of right, actually. Like Final Fantasy games were like maybe a bigger deal back then, relatively, than they are now. I feel like with so many other high profile titles that they're kind of fighting for a little bit harder for attention. And maybe, maybe after 15 took so long, 16 has, had a little bit of its work cut out for it, kind of work back up to that level of prestige. Like no presumptions anymore about the quality, despite the pedigree of the team behind it. It's like, we need to have it in our hands. We need to play it. This may all look good, but sorry, like we need it in hands to be convinced. Not going to give you that goodwill this time.
Yeah.
I think that's totally.
And I mean, like, I think even with like comparison to like Final Fantasy 15, where I mean, a lot of those trailers didn't come to fruition, right? But in the trailer itself, I'm seeing things I've never seen in a video game. I'm thinking of like the Leviathan is destroying this hotel, and you're running through the hallways, and you're like zip dashing across the hallways as they're being destructed, and you just float around Leviathan and all that. And obviously, the Leviathan fight didn't turn out to be that in particular. Ooh. But from 16, I don't see anything that's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that in a video game before. You know what I mean? It just looks solid. And I expect, whatever they're showing this week is going to be more of that. If they show something just mind-breaking that they've been hiding this whole time, that'd be really crazy. But I expect more solid. Thumbs up, but like nothing that makes me cry.
Yeah. Makes you cry. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they could be hiding up their sleeve, though, considering they've shown those big, like, the summon fights. Those seem like the big spectacle, the big, this is the special thing. So I'd be kind of surprised if they had something else they hadn't really talked about yet that would, like, wow someone, like, make you cry, Kyle, basically.
I wonder, I mean, it's silly to like guess about it, right? Because everybody's listening to this has already watched it. Yep. But like, I wonder if they start talking about like post-game shit. Like once you finish the story, there's going to be a lot more to do in the game.
Oh,
Check
sure.
this out.
I mean, I know some of it. I asked them about it and they told me.
Oh, really?
Do you want to know? It's not a spoiler, I guess, but there's there's a harder mode right off the bat. They were calling Final Fantasy mode. So I guess it's going to be like 7 Remake, Kyle, because I specifically asked them if it's going to be like that, and they said yes. There's going to be, of course, optional bosses and stuff too. They wouldn't tell me anything like that, but there's going to be that stuff. And there's going to be like leaderboard stuff, Kyle, where you can replay stuff from the game, like specific parts of the game, and compete against people. Now, Kyle, you're shaking your head. Let me say,
interest.
Okay, no interest. Let me say though, the combat director of this game did Devil May Cry 5. So,
right.
And as someone who played the game, it definitely feels like Devil May Cry in a great way. So
even in Devil May Cry, you don't want to get at the top of the leaderboards in Devil May Cry,
Yeah, no one wants to do that.
Right? Like I don't get it. I don't get the appeal, honestly.
It's okay. I think it's a cool like arcadey mode, Kyle, and I always like that in games. I appreciate that. But Kyle, you're big on Nintendo, man. How are you feeling about Nintendo right now? We got Tears of the Kingdom coming up shortly. How are you feeling about all this? What's going on with Nintendo?
Just what's going on with Nintendo in general?
Yeah.
It's funny. My Sorted Out is for Nintendo.
Okay.
Can I do my Sorted Out already?
No. You must save it.
All right. I'll save that. Then I'll just say then I really loved the presentation they did a couple of weeks ago for the
Zelda?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
mechanics without anything else. You know what I mean? It was strictly, hey, we're just going to show you some mechanics. That's it. Watch me play around with this stuff, and then you imagine what you want to do with it. I loved that to death. I think it was such a great presentation. And so, no, it's funny. I think earlier today there was an announcement that Nintendo's having like their own public event that people can buy tickets to and like come and like, play demos and watch stage shows and stuff like that.
Stage show?
Yeah, like
what are they gonna be, a kabuki performance of like Mario or something?
It's like the do you know what they do these in Japan?
Okay.
They're like fan events. They rent out a convention hall.
Oh.
But they do like concerts, like the Splatoon 8, like they do the Hatsune Miku thing with the glass, whatever. It's virtual.
Okay.
Like they have
like
the Splatoon
holograms.
system. Yes.
Oh.
And they are on like stage performing, and they do stuff like that.
So are there going to be scoops at this thing, Damiani?
That's the debate right now.
Are we going to see the new Switch, the new Nintendo hardware there?
Kid and Krista did a podcast about the Japan versions of these and why they thought Nintendo of America would probably should do one of these here in the US. And they gave a breakdown, and like they're not really about announcements. They're more about they're hands-on with already released games, as like, concerts, and more like photo op, like stuff for families and kids, and like fan opportunities. Think of it like a Comic-Con.
Got it.
Something like that, where it's more about fan experience than necessarily the announcements.
Okay, so there is like no need for us to go to this typically.
We don't. That being said,
I know Bloodworth's probably chomping at the bits.
Trying to always guess what Nintendo's doing is not like
true.
The best thing to undertake.
That's true.
Obviously, September is the month they've been doing their directs as well. So if this were to follow a Nintendo Direct, there is a possibility that maybe some games would be playable.
Okay.
There's also the question whether this is going to be independent or if it's going to be part of PAX West, which is also happening around that time as well. So
the event is in Seattle.
And they're both this event's in Seattle.
I see.
So whether or not
is this some like giving them middle finger to E3?
I mean, you could take it that way, but it does feel like, at least from Nintendo of America's perspective, that September has been the big month. Like they like, and probably just the corp like NCL over in Japan. They like September for whatever reason. Beginning of the year and in September, and just I kind of, my vibe was always that the May June timeframe was just didn't align with their kind of workflow and their marketing schedules. So I think this is just them doing what they want to do. And
yeah, sure.
We'll see if they have more around it. I mean, they could have this, they could have the Direct, they could have Treehouse Live stuff around this as well. Who knows? But it's good news because they're at least doing something, and they're announcing it months in advance. That's what I'm so surprised about. Is that like it's like how many months? Like 5-6 months out. That's a big deal for Nintendo.
Yeah, that is. That's cool.
And I feel like we should all take this opportunity to wag our fingers at anyone who believed the rumor that Nintendo was skipping E3 because they had nothing coming out this year.
Right.
The best was
who's buying into that?
The best was one of those people who said that. One of the sources had to let me re-clarify what I mean by no like big AAA games that will sell 10 million copies or more. And it's like they have no games that are coming out post June or post Tears of the Kingdom that will sell. You're moving goalposts, man. Like, come on. Like anyone who
not
claims
why they skipped E3.
There's no one who has that level of like inside knowledge. Yeah. Like that's insane.
Kyle, dude. Could you? How we got to get you to go on Treehouse, man. I need to see you hosting a game on Treehouse. Can you talk to Keely and get connections?
I don't have those kind of vibes.
I want to see it.
If you are hosting Treehouse, number one, you love puns. Number two, you can smile through the shittiest games. You know what I mean? Like you gotta present like Animal Crossing happy home designer. Like, hey everybody, hope you're in a mood for a cozy little game. You know what I mean? Like I can't. It's not my vibe. I can't.
We need Konami.
I can't possibly be Treehouse.
We need Konami to do that again. Like I could see you just doing a Bomberman game, just some like $30 Bomberman game, and you'd be like, yeah, it's pretty cool, and like that's all everyone expects.
I think that's happening. Bomberman R2 is coming. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah.
You're the guy, man.
You're sure.
It's called Kyle Bosman. All right, Kyle. So we're talking about Nintendo. You've been playing Bayonetta 3 recently?
Yeah,
so I've played through this game too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, man. Tell me about Bayonetta 3.
I'm surprised you played through it too. I feel like it was a low-key game that came out. Oh, okay. Nice, you reviewed that. Because like I don't feel like it got a lot of attention, but it was like, I think the best-selling Bayonetta that they put out in the franchise, right? Mm-hmm. At least they confirmed like we sold over 1 million or something.
Well, let's be clear real quick. Bayonetta 2 was like a Wii U game. Ain't no one was buying shit on that console. Like, do you remember that year that game came out was 2014, I think, and like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze came out, and everyone goes like, "Oh, 2014 sucked for video games." It's like, bro,
they weren't paying attention.
You weren't paying attention because you didn't have a Wii U. Yeah, but I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I actually I got it when it was like December when I was like, I should play all the big games from 2022. I should see like if I missed anything that I would have loved. Like I picked up Neon White at the same time. I actually ended up really loving Neon White. And so Bayonetta 3 didn't click for me for like the first 2 times I tried playing it. The opening is like New York City is getting destroyed by gigantic homunculi, like dragons and like creatures. And it just all gets wiped out in an instant and nobody cares except for the one Joe Pesci guy is like, oh, my family's dead. And everyone else is like, we have no time for your tears right now. Yeah. But it's like, I think like the game has a lot of weightlessness to it, you know, and I like wasn't on board for that until the actual game itself became fun. And I think that's when like the first like environment you get to explore. I think it's like the first time they like drop you in alternate reality Japan. Yeah, dude, like when like the game really picks up.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like that outdoor section. It looks like a Sonic Frontiers zone.
But even that's not that fun. That feels more like Xenoblade exploration. I hate it. There's not that much to do in that world.
Wait, Xenoblade 3? Is that what you're talking about? Specifically?
I need to,
Is that... Wait, I'm sorry. Was that a shot at Bayonetta or Xenoblade?
I think it's a shot at
Xenoblade. I hate exploring in Xenoblade.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, dear.
I haven't played 3. Have you played 3?
No, hell no.
Oh, wait, okay. Well, you played Torna, right? Your Sakurai.
I played Torna. Yeah, Torna's the one I played all the way through.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
It's all right. It's not for everyone.
But Kyle, dude, talk to me about the combat, dude. That crunchy combat.
So what's crazy about the crunchy combat is like how many options they give you.
Yep.
So every time you go to a new world, there's like 2 new weapons to unlock. It's crazy. And you obviously want to use the new weapons, but like my favorite things to use are like the big, heavy, non-combo weapons where it's just like Bayonetta's just throwing this big hammer that transforms into a gun that's got a dragon face on it. It's just like that. The coolest shit. It's just swinging that around is probably my favorite to play around with. But also, I like that each weapon also comes with like its own unique traversal set. So if you are using the dragon hammer, if you like do your triple jump, you get like a jet boost midair. Yeah. Whereas like if you're using the marionette thing, you just kind of like wander around the map as a puppet. It's just like there's just cool shit depending on which weapon you're using, and on top of that, like a unique summon for everything. Obviously, I was like inundated with options. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to try the new thing every time, but I didn't know what to invest in.
I'm curious if you like the spider one, the one that lets you like it's like the wheel one where you can like skate and you can like swing around, like
the yo-yos.
Yeah, the yo-yo one. Yeah, like you kind of like it's like almost like web slinging around. Like I kind of like that one. It felt.
I actually gave up on that really fast because I was like, I know the next one after this is going to be really cool.
Okay. How do you like
the one? And the one after that is the train, which is
the train.
Super hard to use.
I love the train.
Okay, yeah. How long did it take to like figure out how to like did it ever click for you?
I just mashed it. So to explain to anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's like a super move, right?
Yeah.
Where you lay down tracks on the field, and the face buttons give commands to the train that will eventually be going through the track. So basically, you're telling the train what to do in the future while dodging enemies in the present, and then you unleash the train who goes down the track and does everything you told it to. It's so hard to use. It's so hard.
There was a challenge room with one of them, and you had to like use the elevation to like make it go up and down. And I think I took like 40 tries. I hated it.
I had to watch a YouTube video on how to do that one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pretty frustrating.
Damn.
But it looked cool. But no, it looked cool once outside of that. It was fun to use.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the challenge rooms are, they're supposed to be
meant
really
to be like that.
I think I was just surprised that Kyle watched a YouTube video. I didn't know Kyle did that with games. I had no idea that you were like...
If you frustrate me, I'll do it. Because you know what I mean? If the game's fair, I'll try to like learn with you. I'll try to do it on my own. But if I feel like, man, you're like you stepped over a line, game designers, then I'll cheat and I'll look up the guides.
Got it.
Yeah.
Damiani nods in approval.
Like Xenoblade 2, like Xenoblade 2's battle system, where I had to watch like an hour of YouTube videos to learn how to play the game.
Confused, for sure, dude. Yeah. I did not know how to play that game.
I'll give one shot at it. I'll take one shot at Xenoblade. It's 2. But I agree with you, Kyle. The variety, maybe it is a little overwhelming, but all the different weapon sets and all the unique abilities they brought with them, I really enjoyed that about the game.
That's the thing, is they're all good.
It just made playing each environment, like I wanted to try them all out. And I would constantly be switching between them as I unlocked them, just to like play with them, because they were just all really fun. And I think that also went well with the level design. Once you got to like the alternate China or whatever level, starting from there going forward, all these alternate history levels, I kind of like the level design that they did. It was a little bit different from the previous games, because I did do a replay of 1, 2, and then played 3, and I was like, wow, like 3's environments are probably some of the best, I think.
Yeah, compared to the first two. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd say the story's not good.
Sure.
I don't think any of them are that good, but 3's I did not like at all, especially the end.
So yeah, I'm actually being able to talk to two people right now. Did you feel emotional at the end of this game's story?
Absolutely not.
No.
Right? This is the weightlessness I'm talking about. It's like if your character is too cool the entire time and the supporting roster is also too cool, you know what I mean? Then the audience will be too cool. Mm-hmm. Bayonetta herself, it's cool that she's too cool for everything that's happening, right? Because she's just like, yeah, like you're never going to make me scared. You're never going to like bring me down. I actually like that about her character, right? But then I feel like you need a backup weasel at her side who's just like, Bayonetta, I don't know about this. I don't know if we should do this. Bayonetta, I just watched you die in some parallel universe. Like, you shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? You need somebody to bounce off of, and there's just never that.
It's
Everyone
the Joe Pesci guy, but he's
cool.
only at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish he was always around by my side.
You don't have like the sidekick, like yeah.
What was the kid?
And I mean, like that should have been.
The kid
Viola?
The kid in 2?
Yeah,
that's Loki.
Yes.
Oh, right.
No, Loki is the name. Like 2 is all like Norse, Viking stuff. Yeah. Like
mythology. Loki was. I was shocked he was not in this game at all, because I think Bayonetta 2. I mean, you just played it recently, right? I feel like it ends with a cliffhanger about him, but then like he's just. Not a factor at all in this entire story.
Yeah. What was I gonna say about like 3? Like like the plot. The whole where it went towards at the end. Like this like villain who's supposed to be like more powerful than Bayonetta. Like they needed an enemy who like they clearly show they can beat you. They're probably going to beat you. What is it gonna do? The level, like it's same brand, Sega. It felt like Infinite from Sonic. Like that dude just like floating, trying to be super intimidating, and like it felt too try hard to me. It didn't work even within Bayonetta's own cheesy, kind of goofy, self-referential way. I don't think the payoff landed as well as it did in 1 and 2. Whoa. 1 and 2, I felt
Damiani, the story feels like it's from the PS2 era of like Devil May. It reminds me of Devil May Cry, and it makes sense to me, like the story of like just this villain. You're like, whatever, dude. I'm just here for the combat.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same way. Like I stopped caring about the narrative pretty early on. My big question was just like, oh, how am I going to see the other Bayonettas? Because I know they're showing up. I just want to see how they show up. I'm kind of curious about that. But otherwise, it was just they just took all the previous like depth from the combat system and upgrades and just threw everything. They threw the kitchen sink at this game, and it's like all there. It's like the most comprehensive
Too bad
battle
the Switch
system.
can't handle it properly, but
it is the worst looking Bayonetta in my opinion of the 3, because the other 2 they do smaller environments, so they're more I think like even 1. I think even 1 with this aesthetic looks a little bit better. They're trying to do more. There's more ambition in Bayonetta 3, but it's being held back. Like to keep it running at the high frame rate and focus on performance. I think this is a game where the hardware was limiting to the technical aspect of the environment design, like the visuals of it.
Yeah,
sure. But like in the actual like design of the environments, like some of them, like, they opened up and I'm like, I can't wait to go explore every nook of this place.
Yeah.
Like, the level design itself, I think, is really solid.
That's way more important to me too. Like, but to be fair, like, let me point that out. I would value that more. So I really like that. But to give, credit to the first 2 games that you're looking for something they did better besides maybe narrative. Like some of those, like, the environments looked a little bit more beautiful. Yeah. Especially in 2. Some of those areas look pretty good to me.
Kyle, talk to me about Viola. How did you feel about
her? So this is weird is I learned that, like, there was a big Viola patch at some point after the game came out. Like, launch Viola is different from, like, current day Viola in terms of the way she controls. The most frustrating thing is that, like, instead of witch time, like, you're used to pressing a button to dodge at a specific moment. That's just what Bayonetta is. I see your attack coming. I'm going to dodge it. Viola has a similar mechanic, which is parry, but it's a different button. So it's insane to swap characters, and it's like, okay, you should know your Viola now. Press a different button every time an attack is coming. You're always going to mess up 2 times before you're like, all right, it's L1 now. I get it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's introducing a new character to this franchise. I don't feel like you're excited to play as Viola at any point, unfortunately.
No.
Just because, like, Bayonetta's just got more cool shit to play with.
Yep.
And Viola doesn't, right? She seems restricted extremely. But, like, I get the idea that, like, if this franchise is going to keep going long term, they need to introduce new characters because you can only do so much with, like, godlike Bayonetta who nobody can bother, you know?
You need your Nero or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because they're talking about, like, Kamiya said he has like 9 or something he thought about, or something crazy number like that. Some Yu Suzuki number.
Sure.
Like, like he's actually plotting out Bayonetta beyond.
Like, I don't want to make a lot. Okay. It's like, okay, yeah, all right.
That kind of, I mean, some people take it as promising. That seems a little like, I think it's just like, he's got a few like ideas. Yeah. Like, it's nothing great, but like, when you get that,
you're gonna burn the multiverse in part 3 if you're trying to get to 9 parts.
Yeah, like when you get that elaborate, I get a little concerned. I'm like, 9 parts? I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right.
I mean, I think we could have ended on this one. That's fine. Curious what you thought, Kyle, about the Jean segments, the kind of spy side-scrolling action.
They're fun because they're short. Really good. Yeah, as you say, there's like a stealth-based side-scrolling platforming action levels that kind of break everything else up. And yeah, I think there's only like 2, and then the third one is kind of like half and half, and it's like a boss fight, right? They're just so fun. I'm way into it. I'm way into the presentation of those. And it's kind of neat that, like, hey, this character's on this parallel quest. And yeah, they were frustrating at points, but it's like the only time I ever got a platinum trophy was a Jean level. So I liked them.
Nice.
Why did you not like those?
I wasn't the biggest fan of them. But when I found out there were only, like, as you said, 2, and then like half of one, and it changes perspective to go to more traditional. I was just worried there were going to be like a ton of them, and I was like, I don't know how many of these I really want to do. And in the end, they didn't overstay their welcome, but they weren't my favorite part of the game. I just like your complaints about Viola, I just wanted more Bayonetta gameplay. I just wanted as much as I can get from it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Logan Tossi wrote and said, "Hey allies, I started playing Bayonetta 3 a couple months ago, but ended up pausing my playthrough a few chapters in and moving on to other games for the time being. I found that I was getting annoyed with how you were just constantly bouncing from random environment to random environment. Like they couldn't come up with logical transitions between areas, which really ruined the flow of it all for me. It's been a while since I played 1 or 2, but I don't remember this being an issue I had with them. Is this an issue you guys notice, or am I just nitpicking too much?"
Okay, maybe the way they go between the dimensions or realms or whatever, maybe that could use some massaging. I don't know. I forgot how they do that. But I will say the alternative is samey looking environments for like 10, 15 hours of the game. Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, even Devil May Cry 5, the recent one. Like you spend 2/3 of that damn game in like demonic underworld looking place that never varies whatsoever. Endless corridors of that stuff. That is boring as shit to me. I will take a kind of like globe-trotting adventure where you're going to be like really diverse locales and keeping it mixed and varied like that over just everything looks the same because we get so much of that already. But from a narrative perspective, sure, maybe, that the way they went about it didn't exactly, work for
It doesn't
them.
escalate.
Yeah.
It's like you could drag and drop any of those levels and mix up the order and nothing would be lost narratively.
Sure, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what like the story is missing big time. Is like we have to go here now. The stakes are higher now. Bayonetta's gonna feel more like intense in this next one. Like she's gonna feel affected by what happened in the last world, and that doesn't happen at all.
Exactly. There's no national treasure thing. Like, why are we going to this location? Because the puzzle tells us we need to go here. Like we have. Like, there's none of that. It's just
It needs some national treasure shit, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diamond, I kind of agree with you, dude. Like, Devil May Cry 5, I really like that game, but the environment's definitely, I was like, dude, this sucks. Can we get out of here?
Like for 5, it's because again, to be fair, it's because it'd been done so well already.
Yeah.
Like Bayonetta 1, like very good with that. Like it is just look at, if you want more uniform look, things make sense, the logic flows. Yeah. Earlier Devil May Cry games, I think we've just had that done so well that it's
Devil May Cry 1, dude.
Like, where do you go? And I think that's, I forgot to point it out, besides the combat system in this game, and obviously we talked about the level design, it's just the locale variety. Like, if that's what you have to do it, sure.
Yeah.
But if they're looking for another place name higher, as Kyle pointed out, give us a little bit more of a reason and a rhyme to why we're going to these places, to kind of like, we need stakes. There has to be stakes behind this stuff. It can't just be arbitrary because this looks cool. We just want to go here for the sake of going here.
Mm-hmm. I think just with Bayonetta, my expectations for the story are honestly very low, and I never expect anything from it.
Huh.
So, like, if it doesn't make sense, I guess, that much, or it just kind of feels jarring transitioning to more interesting looking stages that I'm actually playing in, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm fine with that. No problem. But I could see the argument of it being like it's cool transitioning through locations naturally. Like I think it's cool, like I think Resident Evil 1, you know, how sick the mansion is because you actually like, go through. I mean, it's a different type of game, but like you really get to know that space and there's variety in that mansion. But for Bayonetta, like the tone is like so insane already right off the bat. Like you're surfing on a tidal wave on like a cruise ship right off the bat. It's like to me that's just like nothing. Throw all your expectations out the window. Anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good point. And every Bayonetta game has done that with their opening, like some over the top insane sequences. Like, let's set the tone. This game is batshit crazy. So if you're not on board with this, you know, maybe you know you're not going to enjoy the rest of this ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Bayonetta is like I really enjoyed my time with it. I had so much fun with the combat, a lot, but there is a lot of parts where I'm just like, ugh, especially the technical aspect of the game. That's what kind of really threw me off the most. Is it's just constantly changing, I guess.
Yeah,
but goddamn,
that's fair.
Was that combat sick? And I do agree with you. I love how much variety there is for your playstyles, but it feels like you get it so frequently. I never get enough chance. I didn't get enough time, I guess, to really sink my teeth into it on a first playthrough. But I think if you replay that game a lot and do all the challenges, you get a lot of time with these weapons. And I think more of that stuff kind of shines on, you know, you're really playing it besides the campaign. And I think if you do that with Bayonetta, you might be missing out on what a lot of the game has to offer, actually.
Yeah.
Which is post-game, you know, going for trials and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to, the coolest weapon set is post-game. You don't unlock it till after the credits.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the...
And that weapon set is so cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is a really cool one.
Let's say it. It's like
minor spoilers.
You have like lions on every limb.
Yeah, you reminded me of Voltron. That's what I found.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The Voltron set is so cool.
Yeah, it is sick.
The only thing I need to hear thoughts about from you, Kyle, the kaiju style battles.
Oh
yeah, because that's the other big new thing.
Yeah, actually, so like you do the kaiju like straightforward, like you do slow attacks and it's like goes 2D. You do that twice, right? And so it's like, I expected that to be the end of every level, but instead every level like features one of your summon gods like super powered up in really interesting ways. Like one time you're just like you're just like a giant sexy demon like kicking bubbles. You're like up in the clouds and you're just naked kicking bubbles at the enemies. And I'm like, this is cool as shit. And like another time, just like it's like mini game style. And just like I actually really like, I think every level ends spectacularly. And I think they hit it every time they tried to do a really cool ending. No emotional impact, as we're saying, but
correct.
Fun little like, let's leave it behind all of the points I spent into my combo system and special moves. Let's just have like a ridiculous giant battle. I loved those.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I agree.
Nice.
Yeah. We talked about this earlier with 16. This is kind of off topic, but we were talking about those big battles.
Yeah.
And I think 16, from what I've seen, is going to have that narrative tissue to keep you invested, hopefully, which will be nice, which I'm looking forward. I want to hear about Kyle crying. I don't know if Kyle's a crier though. Like Huber, big time crier. I'm sure he'll cry one time. But I want to hear Kyle be like invested. That's what I'm hoping for.
Same.
That game.
Sure.
From Final Fantasy, you need it. From Bayonetta 3, you don't need it as much.
I think that's totally fair.
That could be what they're hiding because it's right in plain sight. Because the developers behind 16 have said they want those big summon kaiju style battles to each one to feel very unique and distinct.
Yeah.
So that, and not just basic mini game crap either. They were like fully fleshed out battle mechanics. So I'm kind of curious if they can deliver on that. And
I did one and it felt cool.
And how many there are, like, can they deliver on each one of those?
Yeah,
so maybe
totally.
they'll show us another one of those.
Totally.
Just to illustrate how vastly different they could be when they do that showcase on Thursday, or by the time you're probably watching this.
This question kind of ties into the next thing we're going to talk about, okay?
Sure.
It's from Garrett Hulfish. Playing Bayonetta 3, it was so cool to unlock this strange storybook demo. At the time, I didn't know if this would be DLC or a new game. A few months later, we got our answer with Cereza and the Lost Demon. Mm-hmm. What are some other in-game secrets you've enjoyed that teases another game? It's Kingdom Hearts. The cinematics at the end.
Those are
that tease the next game.
Yep.
Beating Kingdom Hearts 1, dude, and getting that cinematic of, like, we found out would be Roxas, like, fighting Riku. Holy shit, dude.
They're like walking up the skyscraper,
running up the buildings,
this crazy town. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's really hard to think of, like, ones that are intentional and, like, kind of meant to be discovered right away. Like, besides Kingdom Hearts, like, those are the biggest ones. I know, like, Arkham had a secret. Arkham Asylum had a thing that teased City, but you had to really
nobody does it like Nomura. Nobody has that power. No one.
Well, go ahead, Kyle.
What was it called in Metal Gear Solid 3?
Okay.
Where if you load your save in the middle of the jail cell, he has a dream about this game. What was that called?
That was like a tech demo or something like that. I forget what it's like.
It was like the Onimusha kind of or Devil May Cry game.
It's a character action game, and I completely forget what it was called. It has a proper like working title. There's the whole development thing behind it. But
damn, that is cool.
What do you think it was getting at, though? You think that was hinting at something?
I feel like that's like a backdoor pilot, right? Just like Cereza was. Though I think Cereza they knew would be coming out. I feel like that one they weren't sure. I feel like they put in a lot of work into that demo, and maybe it was about to be scrapped, so they put it in Metal Gear Solid 3 anyway.
I think that's probably more likely. Yeah.
That's like Revengeance Prelude. What was it called? Rising before, right?
Oh, it's called Metal Gear. It
was Rising.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Metal Gear Lightning, like what was it?
Lightning, because you're writing.
Lightning was not in the title. No.
Okay, Lightning Bolt Action is the proper name. It's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is the title of the main one, and it's called Lightning Bolt Action instead of Tactical Espionage Action. But Kyle's right; it had another.
I thought it was
called something else. It was a 3-word.
I thought it was like Rising or something.
Oh, I thought it had something else. But anyway,
don't write in about that. Don't correct.
Don't write in. We're not interested.
We don't do that
on this show.
But anybody could go to Wikipedia and figure this out.
Yeah,
we don't
not us.
Interested.
I don't have a computer in front of me.
But Metal Gear was a series that did a really good job about keeping you caring about what was coming next, though.
Right, it did. That's true.
That was good, and it had like continuity, like that. Like Mass Effect was another one. Like I think after 2, people were like wondering about like
Mass Effect, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
there's something like Uncharted as well.
Video games are like too expensive to do stuff like that.
I think a lot, and not all of them are meant to be serialized. So like Final Fantasy, they don't tease at the next installment within each one. They're like, nah, this is standalone for the most part, and then you're gonna move on. Except the stupid ass thing in Final Fantasy X, same thing. Not Nomura, but like they had the Tidus swimming back up to the surface, and they were like, "What is that?" And then they made 10-2, and they showed that trailer. It's like, wait, what? There's more.
Wait, what's that? If there's like a secret ending to
no. At the end of 10-2, after the end of the credits, the title credits.
Gotcha.
So in original 10, after the credits, Tidus is seen swimming up to the surface, and then it goes. Someone like seagulls and stuff like blah blah blah, and like you don't know what happens. Like where is he? Like where did he just surface? Like you have no idea. And then 10-2's trailer comes out. They show him surfacing, and they show him like outside an island. It's like, wait, is he really back? Is he not? Like they were teasing that through 10-2, and then when you play 10-2, you find out he does. You have to get all like the memory spheres or whatever. Like I forget what the conditions are, but you do unlock an ending where you reunite with Tidus.
Okay.
In Final Fantasy X-2.
Then 10
you touched on one that I was thinking of, in-game teases. In Uncharted 3, there's the newspaper that's like deadly fungus spreading across the country or something like that.
I forgot. Like someone accidentally left that in before it got released. Whoops.
But like playable teasers, super rare. I can't think of any more besides that Metal Gear Solid 3 one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So Cereza's rare. That's a rare, cool thing that they did.
Let's talk about this game, Damiani. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and Lost Demons. So when they showed this game, Damiani, I was like, what is this, dude? Like, I just played Bayonetta 3. You already have another game? And like, what is this little baby game? Not a problem. I don't got a problem with that. No problem. I love some baby games. Fine. Yeah, totally cool. But I was like, this is so random and weird. What is this?
So, yeah, it's a different style of game. I think it's meant to be more accessible by all.
Yeah.
It is a prequel, obviously.
Yep.
You are young Cereza. If you're not familiar with Cereza, that's Bayonetta. She was born to two parents who were part of different clans of like the Lumen Sages and the Umbral Witches. They were forbidden from like marrying. They did it anyway. Cereza, aka Bayonetta, was the offspring. Her mom is in prison for it. The Lumen Sage is banished. She tries to stay with the witches and be raised, but eventually she is kicked out, and she goes to the outskirts, and she's taken in by another outcast, another Umbral Witch who was also excommunicated, named Morgana. And Morgana takes her under her wing, and that's the kind of like the start of the story, is that she's starting to train Cereza in the ways of becoming an Umbral Witch. So they live on this outskirts of civilization by this forest, and Bayonetta has a dream. She's very preoccupied with like finding a way to save her mom, and she has this dream where she's told by this voice to go into this forest, this forbidden forest that her mentor said never go in there. You will die if you go in there. Like it is certain death. Do not go in there. But this voice in her dream says you should go in there because you're going to meet this white wolf who's going to guide you to a power that's going to be able to help you save your mother. And so that's kind of the premise, is that you want to go into this forest, you want to find a way to save your mom, and you're basically disobeying your guardian, who's like just kind of like this cold, gives you the cold shoulder, but that's all narrated. It has this wonderful narration. This is a very story-driven game, by the way. Is this a
full-price game?
I do not believe it is.
Okay.
No. But it's like a storybook presentation, like a children's fairy tale presentation. Like you turn, like the pages turn as the narrator advances. And so you're getting a lot of like inner monologue about Cereza and other characters' thoughts, which is kind of nice. Gameplay, it's very simple. You just like walk around in the beginning, you interact with objects, you do basic tasks. But your first primary mechanic you get to use is your witch dance. And it's kind of like a mini rhythm game where a spinning circle around the object you're interacting with will have like a kind of like a triangle of points, and you just have to like point your analog stick at them as they light up. And it's very simple. And this is to show you how accessible this is supposed to be. After you do your first one, it's like, if that was too hard, you can just set it to automatic and it'll just do it for you. So like, it's really easy to do, but they're like, even if you don't like doing that, we will just automatically do that for you. So you don't have to worry about any kind of like manual skill.
Okay.
Damiani, I got to call you out here. This game is $59.99.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought it wasn't, but
that's a full price game.
Okay, it's full price.
So you gotta take the kid gloves off with this game.
Well, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't pass judgment. So so obviously you wander into the forest eventually, and that's when the gameplay really like opens up. So they do a unique control scheme with this game. Eventually, so Bayonetta was trying to summon a demon. That was her first big test that she doesn't pass. She summons a demon, but she gets scared of it, and her teacher gets disappointed. She's like, "Why are you scared of a demon? You're a witch. Like, you're trying to be a witch. That's like you got to make it your familiar. You got like." She talks about her hair, like you're neglecting your hair. They have this whole origin story about hair, how it's important for witches. That's like it's as invaluable as your heart. It's the source of all your power. It's how you're gonna like control the demons. It's how you're gonna like it becomes armor for you. So you're getting this whole hair origin story, and obviously Cereza gets frustrated with her failure, and she decides, you know what, she just wanted to try one more time, and her teacher's like, no, you're done. Like I'm disappointed in you. She's like, I just needed one more try, so I'm gonna go into this forest and I'm gonna prove myself. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm able to handle her myself. She goes out of the forest, encounters these fairies. They look not like pixie fairies. They look like kind of like forest creatures with like spears, and like they look like skull kids, honestly. They look a little bit like skull kids, and they attack her, and she thinks she's gonna die, and because she tries to perform her summoning ritual and it doesn't work, but out of nowhere demon saves her. If the demon she summoned that she failed jumps into her little stuffed animal Cheshire cat doll, and now she's got a companion, she's got a familiar, and now this is how the gameplay works. The left analog stick and your left buttons control Bayonetta. Your right analog stick and your right shoulder buttons control Cheshire. And so you can have Cheshire out as a big demon, and the two of you are walking independently. You can use Bayonetta to like bind enemies, and then Cheshire can go beat them up. There's areas where you're going to find out where you have to navigate two different paths because there's rosemary all over the place, and demons can't go through rosemary. So you have to find an alternate route for Cheshire while you navigate. But here's the catch. If you go too far apart for too long, that's bad. Cheshire's going to vanish, and it's going to be GG for you.
So this is the same Cheshire who's in Bayonetta 3, summoned by a samurai sword on Viola's back.
I assume so.
I haven't gotten far enough to confirm that's the same exact one, but
that's what's weird to me is like now looking back at that, it's like, oh, that's Viola's weird, big grinning cat.
Well,
does it speak? So
yes, it does speak. So Cereza does understand it. It's like not happy. It wants to go back to Inferno, and it's angry that she thought a witch summoned it, and it's like, why can't you send me back? You're a witch, right? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know that spell yet. So, but this voice in a dream told me if I go further into the forest and find the white wolf, I'm going to get this ultimate power, and it should be a breeze to send you right back to Inferno. So the demon decides to go along. It really doesn't have any options. It tries to run away. It gets pissed. It tries to attack her, but the spell prevents the demon from hurting its summoner. So it tries to kill Cereza, but it can't. Then it tries to run off, and it gets weak. And it's like, crap, I can't kill you, and I can't run away. I guess I'm stuck with you. So they're kind of stuck together. So uneasy alliance.
Last Guardian scenario.
Yeah. And they start to bond over, like, you know, like they just have a little bit of bonding going on. But yeah, I said the combat, the traversal, so solving kind of like light puzzles or how to navigate the pathing so they don't get too far apart. And then there are parts where you can have Cheshire jump back into stuffed animal form, like where you're carrying it, and he can extend out like a demon hair sort. I don't know what it is. It looks like a tendril, and it can latch onto things. So it can latch onto objects and launch you for like platforming. So you can like traverse over gaps and stuff like that. So it's about figuring out how to navigate the environment and then there's combat sequences where you pair up together and you're like independently controlling each character to defeat enemies. There's also obstacles. Like there are these giant plants that have like a circular AoE that they'll do. They'll like do a spin attack and knock you away. So you have to like bind them and then have Cheshire come and destroy them. Obviously, it seems like pretty easy, but there's some points where other obstacles are in the way, so you have to like figure out how to get Bayonetta in range so that she can bind it. Because Cheshire can't just walk up to it, because Cheshire will get hurt as well. So yeah,
is there a skill tree here? Is there like player progression?
There's other abilities. You have like multiple different like kinds of currency. There's a crafting system. So there, every so often you find a base, like a kind of like a campsite that you can make. There's these red arches, and when you go there, you can make a new rest point. You could save. You can use your little cauldron to craft like new items, like healing items. And then you have this other currency that eventually is used to unlock different like other abilities. I haven't really got to mess around with it. I like stopped right as I got to that point. But yeah, like it doesn't seem like that long of a game, honestly.
Okay.
It shows your percent completion, and after like about 2 hours, I was like in like the nearing 30%. Mm-hmm. So I think it's only like a 5-6 hour game.
Wow.
Honestly, it doesn't seem like it's that terribly long.
Now, I'm not one to say, the $60 game has to be a certain amount of length. Do you feel like, it's worth it right now? I know you haven't beaten the game, but are you feeling it? Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so compared to like just comparing it to Bayonetta 3, what you get like from that, obviously I could see how people would look at this and say this doesn't seem like it's same value. From a length perspective, from what you're getting out of it.
I thought this was going to be like a $3 game.
I thought it was too, so I'm a little like I obviously I'll be transparent. Got a review code from Nintendo for this, so like I didn't have to.
Yeah, you can't wait. You can't wait until now to say that.
What?
What do you mean? Obviously.
Well, when I didn't know the price, what do you think when I don't know the price of it? How do you think
I'm thinking like I'm listening to Frame Trap for the first time in my life right now, right? Let's say that I'm that person. And I'm like, this guy clearly just buys games without thinking how
big
much
bucks Damiani, dude, doesn't even pay attention.
I feel like I'll say this, and I feel with confidence. I feel like most games that we talk about, if they're new, you should assume if it's just one person that they received that code as part of like the coverage for that. If multiple people are talking about it, sure. Like obviously, like PlayStation makes you do disclosure and stuff, but like Nintendo, I don't like. I mean, I think you're all supposed to technically do them, but.
So I think that what's kind of obviously it's $60 because they presume fewer people will buy it. You know what I mean? So it's like a lower budget, so they have to charge as much because it has a more limited audience. Like I actually don't think they're going for more broad than Bayonetta 3. I don't think they ever expected this would sell better, right?
No.
So I think that's why they're charging so much for it, is because they expect fewer people to buy it.
So that's a valid viewpoint, and I definitely see that. Just playing this game, other than the perspective of like seeing like more lore of like Bayonetta, gameplay wise, I don't see how this appeals to people who also like I don't see a lot of crossover in terms of like gameplay appeal. It's it's a drastically different style of game. I feel like this a little bit that they were trying to branch out with this game. I think this is meant to try, as you said, appeal to existing people, existing fan base, but like maybe less people are going to buy it because it's, not their cup of tea. But I think just the visual presentation, it just looks like from an outsider's perspective, it looks like this it looks like a darling indie type game. If you didn't know any better, it looks like this charming little like novel fairy tale kids game or something like that. So maybe a parent will buy it for their kids. Oh, that looks nice or something like that. And that's why I think they made it a little bit more like simple to play, simpler premise, story is very straightforward. Like the budget is all in the presentation. I feel like it's the narration. The narrator's really good in this. Like I think they spent all the budget on the narrator on this because it's like the audiobook style. Like they're trying to do different voices. Like they do Cheshire's voice, like I'm growling, and like they do it like that. The only one who has original voice, I think, is like Cereza and then Morgana, but everyone else is done by like the narrator voice.
Okay.
Even Morgana might actually be done by the narrator. I haven't got to the credits yet, but yeah, it's done in that style, like an audiobook. So I think they're going for that type of appeal.
So one thing we talked about with Bayonetta 3, right, is how compelled we feel to like see the next world or the next location or whatever. Like, are you feeling driven to finish this game?
It's because it's so simple and they're constantly like dripping new little gimmicks, like very simple things. And like, again, the visual presentation, like everything looks very pretty, like doing a new spell, like doing like the mini game stuff. Like even like the first time you control Cheshire, it's like simple pleasure. And as long as this game doesn't, and that's why I'm saying as long as this game doesn't overstay its welcome, like it does, it's about like, you know, under 10 hours. Like if it's like under 10 hours, I think it will achieve that. Hopefully it's like only 5 to 6 hours. And I think that'd be a nice sweet spot. And I think it's fine. But also like the environment, it's like a fantasy forest, like, you know, vibrant colors. It's like, you know, a lot of like, it's not like, while it's supposed to be like mysterious, it's not like necessarily dreary.
Yeah, sure. I get that.
It's like more like, you know, wonder.
Yeah. That sounds cool to me. Damiani, this game, it sounds more appealing to me now that you described it to me, actually. Like, I like the idea of 2 separate analog sticks. Reminds me of, what was it, Brothers did that? Yeah. I think that's really fun.
It's a little bit like that. I think Brothers is a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, sure.
And what it's doing, and maybe probably a little bit better design.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just because of its timing. It's getting lost to so many other games coming out.
Definitely.
Like, I'm surprised they put this out so soon. I'm surprised they didn't put more time between this and Bayonetta 3.
It seemed very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Maybe they were worried about like losing the zeitgeist, but when it came out, I think the zeitgeist was already gone from Bayonetta 3. Like that.
Zeitgeists don't last that long nowadays, unless you're like Elden Ring or something.
This would have been a great like August title, like, you know, for the Switch exclusive, like enough months after Tears of the Kingdom has come out, you know,
after
maybe
Pikmin.
Forgot about Pikmin already. Jeez, never mind.
Damiani, I want to ask you about something. And it's basically the rumors and hearsay that Nintendo sits on games for a while, like Metroid Prime Remastered. And the potential that maybe Bayonetta 3 was done a while ago, but they saved it for the fall release.
That could be possible. There is empirical evidence that they did that with Fire Emblem Engage because
that's a good example.
Because it was meant to be an anniversary game, but it had been done for over a year.
Empirical.
Yeah.
Well, the people posted like there were videos of it showing like it was done, like that leaked, and it's like this has been done for a year.
And it got like rated in I think Australia or something.
Yeah, it had been done way in advance, but it was intended for this year because it was the anniversary year, and that was an anniversary game. So I don't know if they do that a lot. Obviously, you know, it's easy to just like see circumstantial evidence and jump to that conclusion. But like in this case, we have a tangible example. They also sort of did that with Twilight Princess. Obviously, they added the motion controls in, but through their development presentations at GDC, it was shown that while that was part of the reason, they made the executive decision that it'd be more valuable to hold the game for Wii's launch. That it would be better.
Breath of the Wild too, dude.
Breath of the Wild, possibly, but given how long it's taken Tears of the Kingdom, I think that game might have been like down to the wire with like Breath of the Wild potentially.
Even still, sure.
Yeah, that one I might give them some benefit of doubt, but you know they sort of did it with Twilight Princess,
dude. Man. I'm still mad they just flipped the world in Twilight Princess. I'm still mad about that, dude. Nintendo.
You know,
just so right-handed people could feel the connection to Link.
With
but it's like, I'm not a game designer or anything, but like you're Nintendo, your first party, one of the best in the world. You couldn't figure out how to just flip Link's model or something instead.
I'm gonna give you some more fuel for your fire.
Please do.
Why didn't they give me a different hand option in Skyward Sword?
I don't know, because Miyamoto's left-handed.
That has more precise movement where it matters. So what? Like they justified flipping the world.
Yeah.
Because they wanted people.
Yeah, I understand their logic.
So,
but like, I'm still mad that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still mad, Damiani, that Link's right-handed nowadays.
That doesn't bother me. That's whatever.
I loved it because I'm left-handed, and he was like the only left-handed character ever.
Okay, you have a personal connection. I understand that.
Wait, so was it actually weird playing Skyward Sword and having to flap around this hand you don't feel comfortable with?
No, because I could use that with my right hand. So I use my right hand for some things, but I'm dominantly left-handed. But with like pointing a Wiimote, I would use my right hand. But like I would mess around with left-handed Link. Like I could do it just because like that's canon Link, dude. And like Breath of the Wild, no excuse why he's right-handed. Hey. You're pushing like X button.
Yeah, no, it was not worth it. Don't give Nintendo ideas. They might start charging you for flipping back.
Damiani, don't make me start rambling about amiibos again.
Hey,
I'll do it.
That's even better. They'll hold it behind an amiibo unlock, and it's random to get your for Twilight Princess HD port for Switch. One of those amiibos is gonna let you be able to flip the game back to the way it was supposed to be.
And it's like a 20%
You're telling
chance?
me they would do the Wii version of the game,
and they're gonna make it paywalled behind Nintendo Switch Online, the service, so you can't cheese it with the clock this time, so that it's one per day.
Oh,
and if you want more, you have to pay up.
I can't believe it.
You have to pay up for additional rolls.
Sorry. You got to buy some Hylian crystals.
Oh, Hylian crystals? Damn, dude. Damiani, this game, I think I'm going to check this game out when it's like $30.
Yeah, I honestly feel comfortable saying like if you can wait for a price cut, I don't. Like, this seems a little steep for what it is.
Yeah, like, I don't want to dismiss the quality of the game or anything like that, because I don't know. But, like, just seeing it, I was like, maybe $30.
Yeah, I think you find it more applicable when it's at a lower price. More people will probably find
when
it that way.
Puppeteer came out, I think it was like 30 or 40. I love that game. Died. No one bought it, dude, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I do agree, like, timing for this. Like, maybe later in the year, this would have been a little bit better. Sure. But also... Maybe. Nintendo, they need releases.
Yeah, that's true.
Between now and like, they had Fire Emblem. Octopath's coming to other platforms, but like it's like Fire Emblem, and you got Tears of the Kingdom, like your two big like major releases. It's like you need something in between there. So
yeah, sure.
They kind of like this is kind of their MO.
Sure,
they put out smaller.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like later this month, Advance Wars.
Yeah, hell yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Definitely gonna play that.
People will pay be happy to pay full price for
the Switch effect,
and
dude.
won't get buried by other releases. Jedi Survivor.
I think they're so. I feel like Nintendo is just like immune to all that stuff.
They did just drop a trailer for it, so they are like trying to make people aware it's still like it's coming out. So they're trying.
People like I don't think Jedi Survivor and Advance Wars are gonna cannibalize each other.
They're not.
I just feel like they're so separate.
I'm going to go ahead and predict that there's not a huge audience for Advance Wars today.
Maybe. We'll see, dude. I don't know. Like, I feel like everything just sells on Switch.
Yeah, I feel like, so like Fire Emblem does great on Switch, right? But I feel like that attachment to your roster and your characters, like, I feel like that doesn't exist in like the way that they're presenting Advance Wars,
I mean, Fire Emblem's got that anime Persona-esque elements that people love. They want to waifu up and all that stuff. I don't think you can do that in Advance Wars, as far as I'm aware.
True. They have that appeal. Now, to be fair, Engage, the characters aren't as good, and like it was not Three Houses. It wasn't going like Three Houses in the mobile game Heroes have a different vibe. I think where people feel more attached to their specific rosters. Where they kind of lost that in Engage. Engage just has an overwhelmingly huge roster, and it's kind of hard to like. It's like, this character looks cool, I'll gravitate towards it. Like, you don't have that character building you had in Three Houses where you pick a class.
Not even close.
Yeah, it's not even
close to like old Fire Emblems. Not even close to like Game Boy Advance Fire Emblems. Yeah.
But you're right. Generally, Fire Emblem has that. And I haven't played Advance Wars, so I don't know what level they have of any of that. I know they have unique characters in it, but I'm just not sure.
I'm pretty.
To me, it's the cycle, right? It's like Fire Emblem is not just its turn-based battles. It is like all of this prep and in between and story in between and development. And like, so Advance Wars just being like, this is just turn-based battles. Like, I'm not sure it flies today. I'm not sure.
It is 2 games though, I guess, one, which is sick. 1 and 2. That's nice.
Yeah. Also, like, strategy games are like,
Oh, for sure.
Pretty popular right now.
Yeah. Let's take a question. This is from Maddie, Unexpected Enemy. I've been playing Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and Lost Demon off and on since its release, and I feel like it's going to be one of the most slept-on releases of 2023. Definitely. I know Bayonetta's 3 reception was relatively divisive, and there's a million great games to play right now, but Bayonetta Origins is really scratching an itch I didn't know I needed right now. It feels like what Okamiden was to Okami. It's got beautiful art direction, Zelda-like sensibilities, and an amazing OST. I hope more people find more time for it by the end of the year. But do you think Bayonetta 3 soured people in the franchise going forward? It was my number 1 GOTY pick of 2022, but I understand why people might be hesitant to jump into Origins.
One interesting comparison about the Okamiden, because I think I've personally heard a lot of people didn't like Okamiden. I understand like design wise, like coming in feels like a Phantom Hourglass Spirit Tracks type of DS style Zelda game. Like I actually think I reviewed or played a lot of Okami in a game trailer, so I got that vibe.
I love Okami Damiani, and I've never played Okami.
But I think Okami's definitely the superior game, so like that's kind of interesting to compare it. Anyway, about the direct question about Bayonetta 3 souring people, perhaps. And now that I think about it, it might have been even better to get Cereza out if it was done and they were holding it. Maybe a better release for that would have been ahead of Bayonetta 3. Like while people were still anticipating it, that might have been the better choice. But I do think you're right. A lot of people are going to be dismissive of this game, of Cereza, Bayonetta Origins, and we'll just not give it the time of day. And as they pointed out, it definitely is a very different type of game. And even though I haven't finished it yet, it could be much better than even I'm expecting at the moment. So that's just unfortunate. But at the same time, that's just companies maybe need to look at like trends a little bit better. Yeah. Like a smaller, appetizing game compared to like the meatier meal. Obviously, this feels more like an appetizer. They're trying to present it like a dessert, and it's like, nah, the main meal is bad. You're not going to stick around for dessert. Your appetizer is the window you have where people will eat the appetizer. They don't like it. Well, I still got the main course to look forward to. I'm good. So,
well, it's like you go to Ruth Chris. I mean, get a nice steak. You spend a lot of money, then you get like a Baskin Robbins ice cream cone. Still good, but they're charging the same price for both. You're like, well, I can just hold off for a little bit. I just had that whole steak. I'm still full.
Okay,
wait a little bit.
Some people like going to Baskin Robbins after Ruth Chris when they have the sticker shock from seeing that price. Like, we'll get desserts. We're working.
No, I'm just saying.
Let's just go. Let's just get on it. Yeah. So like, it is really interesting. Like, it's something I think about, right? In terms of like franchising, right? I do think that Bayonetta 3. Its intent is to leave you more excited to see where the franchise is going, but I think for many people, it kind of just closed a book. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm actually not curious where you're going next.
Yeah. We're too pumped about it. You're like, all right.
And so I do think they just kind of like, it's weird, right? As a storyteller, you want to tell the end. You want to do that. And then, as a video game producer, you want people salivating for your next game after they hit credits. And so it's weird, like you have to like, business out your game a bit, where it's just like, oh, I want people to be really excited about the entire franchise of Bayonetta, but whereas like I don't feel like the story pulled that off at all. They kind of just, I don't know. And so it's a weird. I do feel like I feel like Bayonetta 3, even to its greatest fans, did kind of sour the franchise a bit.
Sure. Yeah, I think so.
I think it also hurt how long it took to come out.
Yeah, it took
the gap between 2 and 3 was pretty. Like they might have announced that game a little too soon as well.
They definitely did. Yeah.
I'll say.
But I think the best course, regardless of the reception to Cereza in the long run, I think the really best bet for them going forward for Platinum Games is to ice the series for a few years and kind of do like a Devil May Cry 5 thing where people be like, remember Bayonetta? Like it's been like so long, and like people actually like be more receptive of giving it like a chance for a comeback. I think that's like what happened with Devil May Cry 5. Obviously, there was a entry that was polarizing in between with DMC,
right?
But I don't think that necessarily needs to happen or anything like that. Just enough time goes by. Everyone does it now. You're talking about like franchising. It's nostalgia. You wait long enough, it's like, hey, let's go back to this again. The kind of the cooldown for that has been shortening and shortening as we've gone on in time here. Like,
okay, so it actually they do something that I haven't seen any video game do before. This is kind of interesting. You know how like the end of a Marvel movie, it's like, this character will return, or the end of James Bond is like James Bond will return. This ends with Bayonetta will return in the next generation, is what they say. So obviously they're completely intending to put it on ice for a little while. I'd never seen a video game say that. I'll return in the next generation. All right, and I kind of believe them too.
Yeah, I guess the next generation is going to be the next Nintendo console, which isn't probably that far off, so it might not even be that long.
Yeah, we'll be playing that next year. Yeah,
I mean, you think it's console? I mean, they could mean like the next generation of like people. Like
It's like 30 years from now.
I mean, who knows what they mean by like generation with that? But
know.
You're right, Kyle. Like that kind of
there could
like
be some reads on that for sure, no doubt.
nebulous tease is a little surprising.
The only thing about putting this series on ice that's kind of weird is even if it was technically put on ice, it's still going to take them a long time to make a next Bayonetta game, judging how long this game took to make. And I don't know if Platinum necessarily has those banger IPs to fill in the void right now. And maybe unless they got something brand new cooking that's going to be sick, which maybe.
But that's true.
Not like Capcom. You know, Capcom's a legendary studio or publisher with tons of IP everyone loves.
Right. They can just like open their closet and have another
Here's
$1 million
40
seller.
Resident Evil games. It's all right.
Platinum has been diversifying. They also became like a publisher as well.
But they've been having misses, Damiani.
No, that's very true. Like there is the reputation that outside of like Bayonetta, that they're very hit or miss, you know, with their projects. That like the only one that's been consistent has been Bayonetta, and then like there's now some dispute over Bayonetta 3. I mean, I think for a combat perspective, as we talked about,
I agree.
that hasn't changed whatsoever.
Still sick combat.
But the other part of the equation is like it involves Nintendo. You know, Nintendo needs to fund another sequel if they want it to happen, pretty much, unless Platinum wants to fully front that cost, which I don't know if they want to. And I don't know Nintendo's really like their MO is to rush into like a fast sequel like that so quickly with something like this. I don't think they're in any hurry to get out Bayonetta 4 either. I think they'll be happy with it coming at some point.
They sure are, Damiani.
I think honestly, I think a lot more people will be happier from a Switch standpoint or just Nintendo standpoint. Maybe seeing them try their hand at a follow up to Astral Chain. I know a lot of people were more receptive to Astral Chain. I don't know. I saw a lot of Kyle, you don't like that game?
Agree. No, just put something new like Astral Chain. Just make another new thing.
Oh, okay, sure.
Astral Chain like didn't work. You know what I mean? It was good on you for trying and good attempt, but like just move on to the next thing. Is what I would say.
I mean, maybe they take the lessons learned from that, and when they make Astral Chain 2, like maybe I don't know. Like I don't know if it was the premise was faulty or if it was just like the gameplay ideas weren't like fully realized, and maybe it was a bit of both. But I think they also need to like be wary of like. They've done a lot of licensed projects. Those seem to be like their biggest misfires.
How much of Nier Automata is Platinum?
The entire combat system is, and so is the Replicant, whatever.
They're definitely working on another Nier game, then, right?
I don't know.
Was it a Replicant? I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
We have no idea. Like Yoko Taro is like just been basking in crossovers for Nier Automata for like
dude.
almost a decade now. It's gonna come up on a decade, and we'll get like a sequel announcement. It's like, no, next up, 2B is in
Street Fighter
Fortnite.
6.
Finally, 2B came to Fortnite. Finally, like surprised that hasn't happened yet.
I'm surprised she's not in there yet.
I mean, 2B's in like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, 2B's gonna come to Smash Brothers next time. Like it's just 2B's in everything. But yeah, I would imagine if they want that success, they will bring back Platinum Games to develop the combat for that. But at the same time, you had Babylon's Fall, which was also Square Enix, and
woof.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there seems to be a trope with them, like character action with like single player driven character action games seem to be their bread and butter, not. With enough development, your thing about development time's kind of true because all those licensed ones like Turtles, Transformers,
those were like
Korra,
a year probably
rushed, very rushed development cycles, very short development cycles. They wanted those out to capitalize.
That was Activision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and none of those were really that stellar.
I heard the Terminator game was okay. Or sorry, not Terminator, Transformers.
Was it? No, maybe that one was good.
Kyle, you probably played that, right?
Just okay.
Just okay.
Just as Damiani is saying, not stellar.
Okay, just okay though. All right.
Yeah. Not of that like Platinum pedigree.
Sure.
And there's also like talk about like the teams. They keep saying they have like an A, B, and a C team, and that like the A teams like only worked on Nier and then worked on Bayonetta, and they don't really like work on anything else. It's always their B and C teams. They've also had some departures as well. So
and don't forget Scalebound.
Yeah, that was a big passion project and didn't happen. I mean, and then people like asking like to bring it back.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I feel like when they give it enough time and enough budget, they do.
Sure,
they do work wonders. But at the same time, it seems like they are run kind of like a business. Like it is a business, and
they're mercenaries.
They got to keep active, so they will take projects that make sense to them. Yeah,
do what they got to do. All right. it's time for Sort It Out.
Here you go, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. So for everyone at home, if you're listening, you don't know what Sort It Out is. It's just something, just something in the game industry that's kind of annoying, like could be a game itself, could be some corporate thing, whatever. Could be related. Kyle, you were ready to go with one. Let's hear what you got.
Nintendo Switch Online. You got to sort it out.
Oh, shit.
This week, Pokemon Stadium is the big release to Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. Mm-hmm. So people they're paying an extra online fee to have access to N64 games, Genesis games, and Game Boy Advance games. And it's too loosey-goosey. And Pokemon Stadium is not the jewel they think it is. It's not a fun game to play if it doesn't connect to a regular Pokemon game. You're just renting lifeless Pokemon, and that's not what Pokemon is about. They're always meant to be something that you've nurtured, not just some random thing that you're just renting from a store that has no past or future, Yeah. It's just, I don't like this idea that they think that Pokemon Stadium is enough to carry the month, or at least carry the next 2 weeks. They announced it last week. It's coming out this week. And just before that was Metroid Fusion. Like, this is the big release. It's Metroid Fusion. Hopefully that tides you over for 2 weeks. And it doesn't. It simply doesn't. And so I think that maybe they got to take Nintendo Switch Online more seriously. Maybe have a regulated cadence in which they drop their new titles, but also make it more exciting to the people who are subscribed to the service to learn and be there day one for when they actually pop up.
Yeah. Kyle, it would have been sick if they had red and blue and yellow on there. Then they did Pokemon Stadium or something. So it actually made sense. You could use your Pokemon. Because when I heard about this, Kyle, too, I was like, yeah, wasn't the whole point of that game is you had your Pokemon fight in a 3D game?
The entire point of that game, yes.
Yep.
It came with this thing you could shove into your N64 controller, and into that you could shove your Game Boy cartridge.
Transfer so cool. Pack, right?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
So I had all of that, Kyle, and I didn't have Pokemon, and I got Stadium for N64, and I did the rent a Pokemon, and I will concur with you. Someone who wasn't a big Pokemon fan back in that time period, I was like, oh, Pokemon's huge. Ooh, a 3D Pokemon. I'll give this a try. Not fun. I didn't feel any investment. I'm like, I'm kind of lost here. I'm like, I'm not getting the appeal of this. I guess you're supposed to bring in these teams from the handheld. I'm like, oh, I guess I missed the boat on that. So the fact that they didn't have a plan, even not announcing that, hey, we get it. There is no Pokemon Gen 1 yet, or any whatever gens were supported by that. Was Gen 1 and 2 were supported? I forget. Whichever ones were supported for Pokemon
just
Stadium.
One at a time. Just for Pokemon Stadium 1, just Gen 1.
We will have a plan for some way for you to experience that and bring those Pokemon to Pokemon Stadium, but we're not ready to talk about that just yet. But even just saying we have plans for that would have been better than just like how it was done. But even that's not like optimal. But I'm kind of weary about any of that functionality because I feel like it would have already been done, Brad and Kyle.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
Because Fusion would have unlocked the Fusion suit in Metroid Prime Remaster. Like, they could have done that because in the original Metroid Fusion, it unlocked the Fusion suit in Metroid Prime for GameCube for that connectivity. Now it's all digital. It's just be able to read a digital save. It's like, A, can I even do that? And 2, B, was it even in Metroid Prime? Who knows? But, like, they didn't even do it for something simple like that. So that makes me really scared about Pokemon. Like, they are never going to have functionality that's going to let you bring Pokemon over to that. But I still have hopes that maybe later this year that a Pokemon Classic collection is coming at maybe for this holiday because they don't have like a new mainline entry coming.
But I don't think Nintendo has that kind of influence over Pokemon Company.
No, absolutely not.
Who completely values each Pokemon game, and so like I don't think that'll be coming to a streaming service. But yeah, I think they got to think of it. Nintendo Switch Online as a streaming service, and like think about like
what do you think's not coming to a streaming service?
Any mainline Pokemon game.
Oh, I think they're going to sell them piecemeal or in a collection. That's what I meant. Like a Pokemon Classic. Like they're going to sell it for like $60, like red and like maybe red, blue, yellow.
Yeah,
like that's a $60 thing. We'll probably
guess who would gladly buy that.
Who?
Dude, I'd buy that.
Yeah, I mean
that was my sort out because you're talking about Pokemon. I wanted to ask you this: is why the hell can I not buy these Pokemon games anywhere? I just can't. Like, I have to have the cart still. Like, can I buy Red and Blue somewhere and play it digitally?
You
Legally?
could buy it on a 3DS up until 2 weeks ago.
I was gonna say, isn't that dead now?
It is officially dead. You cannot add more money to your Nintendo account and purchase things off of an 3DS eShop anymore.
But it's like Pokemon Red and Blue are so influential and like so beloved. People would spend tons of money on that.
So to the Pokemon company, right? The Pokemon themselves matter. Think of them like NFTs. Every single Pokemon has its own unique code, and that Pokemon exists.
Whoa.
And so like they hate the idea of you duplicating your saves. They hate the idea of you like re-rolling a Pokemon over and over and over. Like they want you to think of them as like creatures that exist and will persist, and you load it up to Pokemon Home, and then you load it up into the newest game, and you have this like lifelong connection to this Pokemon. So like I think that's a huge hurdle for them to make this like a streaming service and have these Pokemon isolated to this thing. Or even like in a Switch collection, there would have to be Pokemon Home implementation. Because the idea of like closing off these Pokemon with no future, I think is like opposite of what Pokemon Company wants to do with
closing
the
off
creatures themselves.
no future? Dude, my cart is like destroyed. Those Pokemon are never walking again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if they were to reintroduce them, I think Kyle's saying that they need to have a path to continue that exact like what they're trying to do with the original releases. That it's something they want to carry with you as far forward as possible. But as you said, they do already have the infrastructure in place on the Switch with Home. It's what's called right now. It kept switching names. Still called Pokemon Home.
It was Bank before.
Okay, Pokemon Home. If they did a Switch collection, that's like a standalone release. They could probably work in more easily, I think, functionality than doing it on the streaming services.
No. Yeah, I don't even need a streaming service. Let me just buy the games.
Yeah, and they're going to charge. Yeah, you're going to pay like each gen. You're going to be paying like full price,
Instead
like $60 for each gen
remaking
collection.
Red and Blue with Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, where you just like throw a Pokeball, something dumb like that. Why don't you just port the original games? Just give me the games, man.
That's right. Because Let's Go.
I'm asking the bare minimum.
Let's Go
them.
Pikachu and Eevee is how you get those ones now to come forward.
Yeah, there's home connectivity too. Yeah, I think I kind of admire it, right? I kind of admire how ultra protective Pokemon Company is of the franchise and the old games. Like they're vaulted right now. You know what I mean? They're straight up Disney vaulted, and I kind of admire it. But you're right. It sucks that you can't legally play that game right now.
I kind of admire it, Kyle, but then I also don't, because they do things like Pokemon Sleep, where I'm just like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
what are you fucking doing?
Are you that?
It's hard for me,
to
take you seriously when you're doing stuff like that. Like I don't believe it.
Yeah. Oh man. Like they even like their earlier like remakes, like Ruby and Sapphire and stuff. Like are they? Sorry, what was it? Fire Red, Leaf Green. That's what I meant. Fire Red, Leaf Green. Like those are GBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like those would probably like never be added to GBA. Like, yeah, they would do those individually. I'm trying to, based on what I'm trying to figure out. Sorry, Kyle, I went on a different tangent there. Is what is like the oldest Pokemon game that you can play right now that has a forward path into Home? Do you know that answer? Or no?
So yeah, like original hardware, it would be the GBA games. It'd be Ruby and Sapphire. But if you're playing the 3DS ports of Pokemon Red or Blue or Gold and Silver, then you could port those into. Okay,
so that still has like, they didn't shut down online. You can still go online on 3DS and Wii U. It's just a shop access.
So yeah, but in that case, you would have to take them into Pokemon Bank and then Pokemon Home.
Oh dear. Okay.
It would be. It's a lot of steps. There's no easy way to like start up Pokemon Red, get a Squirtle, and then take it into Scarlet and Violet.
That sounds like such a hassle. Gotta go to the bank.
It's a hassle. Yeah.
Then Home.
It's a hassle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This all brings us back to them putting Pokemon Stadium out with nothing but rental Pokemon,
and acting. That's the thing, is they're like acting like, hey, look forward. Like being subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online should feel exciting. Like every reveal should be exciting. You should be like looking forward to things. You should be like, oh, I can't wait to see what they put out next month on Nintendo Switch Online. And they're not delivering enough, and they're not teasing enough. And the things that they are putting out, they're like treating it like it's hotter shit than it really is. Yeah. I'm including GoldenEye as well.
Ooh. I'm waiting for Smash Brothers so we could all like laugh at the trying to play online with it when they like they're gonna put a big bullet point like now you can play 4 players online and then everyone's gonna go online like this sucks.
My Switch is gonna blow up if I play that.
Yeah, exactly. When that is the month of Smash Bros N64, they're gonna treat it like it's the biggest deal, and you'll play it for like 15 minutes and be like, okay.
You remember how like slow it is? How like controls are like. Oh man, how did I ever play this version? It's so bad. It doesn't play
and
well.
They'll sit there with their arms crossed, like we launched another one. We broke the internet with this one, and like you didn't.
The only thing to play devil's advocate is I would like Nintendo to take it more seriously and commit to not just like a routine release window schedule, especially for like the higher tier stuff, but maybe even like being like more upfront about advertising in advance. Like next month it will be this, so you don't have to wait till the month of or a week before. Hey, it will be this. Like, it'd be good to get a little bit of a heads up because it sounds like you have a bit of a plan when you give me that heads up.
Game Pass style. Yeah.
But Huber, who's not here, always criticizing Sony for their classic catalog, how they're handling it over there. It feels like they're both mishandling them. Like Nintendo and Sony, like they just.
Huber doesn't even have a Switch right now, so he's not. He hasn't played a Nintendo game in forever.
People got excited about the most recent one was Legend of Dragoon because you could buy it piecemeal as well. You didn't have to like. But Nintendo doesn't even offer that. You can't buy these games piecemeal.
Yeah, it sucks.
And for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, you can't even just pay a month. You have to buy the whole year. There is no like month only option. Whereas like Sony, I believe you can just pay for 1 month and like try out all that stuff and then like maybe back out without, spending too much.
Damiani, Nintendo is an investment in your happiness. That's how they see it.
I like how you put that, an investment.
Yeah.
And as Kyle said,
invest in your own happiness.
And they love the vault. They're the vault master. Them and Disney are the vault masters. I mean, yes, Pokemon Company's doing their own thing. Nintendo doing their own thing. Vaulting Mario collection, vaulting long lost translated Fire Emblem game. Here's 6 months to buy it, and it's gone for good. Bye. Good, congratulations. It's like I can't wait to see what they vault next. I'm just waiting for the next vault.
Do you have a sorted out, Damiani? I know we just rambled about Pokemon.
I mean, that was pretty good. Like the vault. Anything else? Not really. I was gonna say sorted out to Capcom for selling the $2.99.
The tickets for the weapons
for Resident Evil 4. But considering how hard some of the professional can be for some people, and people just want a chance to play it. Like if someone could get into a jam, I can imagine getting into a place where it's like I'm struggling on this boss. I have no like I screwed up with my saves or something. Maybe I just spend $3 and unlock this one option. I have a fighting chance. And like, I think that's what they're doing. Like that mentality is like, it's just a little bit to push you over the edge, but still it doesn't feel great that there's not another way in game to unlock those. Like it would be something like another skill based thing to unlock them would have been like nice. But yeah, $3 a pop for that. It's like,
I just think it's stupid that, I understand why they did it is they didn't introduce this until reviews are out for the game already and shit.
Yep. It's the one. Yeah.
My understanding is the way that tickets work is you upgrade your weapon normally, like you have a handgun, right?
Yes.
And you're upgrading its accuracy and power and range or whatever. Yep. But then it's got like this hidden 5th stat that's like its super ability, and you need a ticket to get its hidden 5th ability.
No, you don't need a ticket. There's 3 ways to unlock it. Paying just the pesetas. It has a peseta cost. So like the knife, I think, is like the first knife. The combat knife, 60,000. But you have to enable that option, you have to have maxed out all the stats already. So you need to max out power, durability, all those have to be filled in and spend a lot of cash on that. So that's one way to do it. Fill in all the upgrades and then spend more cash. You can also in game do those pink gems, the spinels. There's 2 tickets you can buy, a 30 gem one and a 40 gem one. Those will automatically, when you get access to that, you can just skip to unlocking that thing right away and not having to pay.
And that's the natural way to get a ticket in game.
Yes.
That's the only way you can get a ticket in game.
And then the third way is a variant of that ticket, which is the gold ticket, because these are like silver tickets. The gold ticket is $2.99 and just lets you, like, same thing, lets you skip to that and unlock the exclusive attribute of your weapon. So you can either pay real money, earn it in game, or and those let you bypass paying for all the upgrades, or you have to pay for all the upgrades and then you can pay for the exclusive. So the tickets bypass the grinding, basically.
I see.
And you have to grind. You have to do those quests to get those gems. So it's a lot of like side quests you have to do to get those. Some are hidden, but to get enough, you need to do those side quests. So you have to grind in game to get that currency to buy the ticket. So the microtransaction option just bypasses all that. You like just get it and ignore having to grind out anything. So that's
I don't love it.
Yeah,
it's a pay to win thing.
Yeah,
because some of those perks are really good. Like, I would just wish they waited longer to do this.
Yeah, I was thinking, the game
is still really fresh.
Playing through professional on like a new game on professional, starting from scratch. I was like, this is something I feel like maybe in another month. I am assuming they're gonna have a DLC for Ada campaign and extra Mercenaries content. That would have been the time where I'd introduce like maybe a care package, which is like, here are some things to help make the game a little bit easier if you're struggling on hardcore or professional. Here's a bunch of gold tickets. They'll just unlock all the weapon perks right away, so you can have that advantage. Maybe like something else, another thing to make it maybe a little bit easier for some people.
Well, they're going to do that already, because the other games, you could buy some of the unlock weapons right off the bat later on. Like in RE2, you could buy like the minigun with actual money later on, and like the rocket launcher. So they'll probably do that.
You think they're gonna do
also
that?
Later on. They're just getting people right now.
I can buy Resident Evil 2 remake, and then I can just buy with real life money a rocket launcher.
I believe so. Let's look real quick.
I feel like this is real.
Nutty, bro. That's crazy.
Sure.
I think like the infinite, like the thing is, I think like something like those bonus weapons that you get through the S Plus. I think they might allow you to buy those, but like I think they won't let you. That won't check off the checkbox for that achievement though. Like I think you still have to do that legitimately to get like the challenge, because you have a challenge, a menu of challenges.
And it's like beat this game on this difficulty within this amount of time, and you can't die, and like all these things. So somebody of my skill level will never see some of those weapons naturally.
There is an alternative to one of them that just came up with Mercenaries, which is funny because I'm doing it the OG way, and then Mercenaries dropped, and I came close to doing it by accident, unlocking this weapon through Mercenaries. It's a nod to the original Resident Evil 4, the hand cannon, but in the original one, you had to like get S or S plus whatever on S on every single character on every single map. And this for an RE4 remake, there's 3 maps. You just need to get an S with 1 character on each map. So 3 total S's, 1 on each map, will unlock the hand cannon. The way to do it before Mercenaries dropped was beat Professional on a new fresh save file. So like no bonuses, no nothing. Can't use special weapons.
Which is way harder to do, I presume.
You can use the outfits and accessories. So you can use like Ashley armor. So she can't die, which is kind of mandatory.
The armor has a function? I didn't know that. That's funny.
It's nod to the original one. She can't die in the original. But like you can't use the infinite rocket launcher. You can't use the Chicago sweeper typewriter. Like, so those kind of are the way to make like the harder difficulty S plus runs easier. But for this one, you couldn't do that. You had to start fresh. And like you can take all the time you want, but like you're limited on ammo. Bosses, like they're struggle because you don't have like those cheap guns to one shot them or just fire away with like the sweeper. You just hold down the trigger and stand there and just watch everything die. Like you just like laugh. You just like ha ha ha. Everything can't come near me. Even bosses, you just step far enough away and like just like go down really quickly. But you can't use that. You have to fight them with normal weapons. So this is stuff I think they're for it. It's so Kyle. What I was trying to say is. Professional new game like is a challenge for me, and one of the challenges, the final challenge is it's not a trophy. They even make it a trophy because I think they knew how sadistic it was. Get S plus on professional, which is like a new game. I don't want to do that. I don't care about that. Like I have no like ego thing that's
above
like,
your skill level.
I was like that's gonna take so long if ever. I don't care about that. I'm satisfied.
It'll take like practice and rehearsal, right?
It's gonna take like weeks. I don't want to do that. I'm good.
Gotcha.
I'm good with that.
So
wait, would you? Okay, go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say with Resident Evil 2, the update. So you can buy all in-game rewards unlocked for $5, which includes
$5.
The Force Survivor mode, which you get for, I think, beating the game, the Tofu Survivor costume, and all the bonus weapon and models. So,
all the bonus weapons for $5. There you go.
Yeah, so that's everything. But like, I think this came out like quite a bit after.
I feel like it did because I don't remember anything like that.
No, not at the start.
Right
No, but like whatever. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So this coming out, these golden tickets coming so soon. I think. They're not like the end of the world. Like it doesn't fully upgrade your weapon. It doesn't unlock weapons. It just unlocks the bonus perk for each weapon, and it's $3 a pop. And I think it's like just a little bit of a nudge, but it's still not the greatest. Like no, it's still another pay to win thing.
All right, let's hear from some of the listeners. This is from Riki Maru. People hating on games before they release. Sort it out. It seems like in the weeks leading up to it, just about every big new IP recently, there's been an overwhelming amount of negativity towards games before they even came out. Namely new IPs, from Ghostwire Tokyo, Callisto Protocol, Forspoken, and now Redfall. I get a lot of it's coming from the console wars people that should be ignored, but it really gets to me. The same discourse around AAA games all being the same seem the same, also not being giving new IPs and new ideas a chance. Sort it out. So I guess just annoy people complaining about games talking shit before they're even out. And like I get that.
It's pretty
it's like even if you hate how Redfall looks, you should still be rooting for it is the idea, right? Like they're just trying new shit out. They're trying to make a new game, which is so impossible to do. They're trying to penetrate even a little bit of this audience and have any negativity toward that. I see why that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it is console war stuff, for sure. People always, regardless of game, what side it's on, people are going to complain about and talk shit. That's just the way it is.
It's like American Idol, right? It's like there's like some people who are clearly good, like Resident Evil 4, and then there's this person who like comes out and you like they're starting their song and they're like me, and you tell they're going to suck, and then you like boo at them.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you booing that person? You know what I mean? Like, let them try.
Sure, yeah.
Let Redfall try. I guess it's that kind of mentality, right?
But at the same time, like, I check out on some games when I see it, like, just like,
Redfall.
But that's,
No, I haven't done that with Redfall. I'm actually hoping Redfall's good. I like Arcane, so I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I hear the me, and I, like, change to another channel. That's fine. Like, you're not, like, actively, like, bad-mouthing or like trying to like hurt that person.
I'm not, like,
it's like it's my opinion, like I'm not interested in this, I'm just gonna go do something else. Like that's all it needs to do. Like you don't like something, it's like find another game to talk about. Like you don't have to like you have so many other wonderful games to choose from. It's like you really need to stay fixated. And like I feel like it is a console wars, you say, or some people just get invested either in a company or a series. This happens a lot more with series games, I feel like, but like companies as well. Like you see people like have an expectation for a company putting out a certain type of game, and when they dare to do something different, it's like, oh, that sucks. Like I'm not going to support you. Like people just sometimes get like that. So I find that a little bit more understandable. Not saying it's any more right, but when it's just something different like this, where there's no expectation, it's like, why? Why move on to something else, for crying out loud?
I'm definitely guilty of that though.
Sure, everyone is to an extent.
I definitely dump on games that haven't come out yet, and in fact, I take pleasure in doing it. So I need to sort it out.
I think there could be some joy in it, absolutely.
Yeah,
but like I don't know, like people just talk shit just to talk shit. That's just the way it is. So I don't know. I wouldn't look too deep.
It's okay to express disappointment and concerns. I think that what they mean is like when when you're actively into like rooting against a game and trash talking. It's like whatever. All right,
whatever.
Wait,
this is from Stefan. Sorted out. Been playing through Midnight Suns on Series X and loving it, but damn, the UI font size is so small with no option to increase it. Sorted out 2K and Firaxis. I know games are becoming accessible, but the bare minimum should be this at least. I remember this was an issue with Mass Effect 1 when it first came out, but it's 2023. Kyle, you look like you're ready to go.
Yeah. This one's funny because like it's hard to explain how small the subtitles are. They're in like this tiny oval in the very bottom middle of the screen, and you can't move it and you can't increase its size. It is so silly, and I think it's like hard written into the code. But like there's times where your card hand will overlap with the subtitles, and you can't even read what people are saying right now. And it's like nobody thought about it. You know what I mean? It was like it was just so automatic to them that obviously the text should exist within this oval. Why even think beyond that? That's a good call out. That game in particular is messed up with its subtitles.
Yeah. It's from Sigma. Sorted out. Nintendo Splatoon 3 only has 2 buttons to give commands to communicate with random allies. Booyah! And this way. This way becomes ouch.
What more do you need?
Or help when you splat depending on the mode. Give us more. D-pad has 4 directions. Why not use them all? It's been like this since Splatoon 1.
Gonna give a shout out to our patron Alexander Ziranov, who made us for the last showcase, not the last showcase 4, basically made they showed their patron Hall of Greats entry for Apex Legends. They're a little biased towards Apex Legends, but one of the big things they did talk about was how the game does a great job of allowing you to communicate with your teammates without voice chat, and arguing that's one of the most comprehensive. So Kyle, you're like, what else do you want? Like they had pinging things, like pinging a destination, and like it's a color coded thing. Like that means we're going there, or enemy over there, or pinging an item with a color. You should pick this player. You should pick this up. Like it has a system. If you play it enough, it's very intuitive and obvious what things mean after you play a few matches. And so you don't need to be writing on your keyboard or dealing with annoying people on voice chat if they're just getting grating or toxic. It's all within the game's tools to communicate objectives and stuff like that. And so I have no objection to limiting personal communications in online games to deal with toxicity, but if basic objectives are hard to accomplish, even basic meta strategies, because it's limited. And it sounds like this is with Splatoon. This is Nintendo. They don't do a great job with comprehensive online functionality.
On your phone to do voice chat.
I feel they probably could do a little bit better in this department for sure.
This is incredibly condescending, but I feel like Splatoon just doesn't have that level of needed strategy.
I was thinking that immediately in my brain when you're talking about. I was thinking about Apex. I'm like, that's such a more complicated game, and the maps are so big sometimes. So I could see the ping thing working, but.
You just blow up and respawn 2 seconds later.
I have no idea what
so
the hardcore
for
thing
future
is
RF Switch comment in the comments already, I anticipate reading your explanation for which of us is probably right, because they will know definitively whether or not Splatoon 3 does.
Do it in Kyle's stream.
What?
Just do it in Kyle's stream. Ask Kyle in his stream.
It's gonna be in it's already written. It's just happening.
What I was thinking about is Rocket League, how nice save is used ironically, and so I honestly feel like it's an intended design that they only wanted 2 things that could never be used ironically.
Okay, it was like Hearthstone, dude. When someone would do a misplay, you'd do the well played or something.
Kyle, in any game, I feel like auto text like that is just misused for trolling and stuff and griefing. Absolutely. In frickin' 14, the new PvP, the thing we played, Kyle, the last one you enjoyed, the small one, the push the crystal.
Push the crystal, right?
People spam push the crystal. Not just unironically, they'll be you're shitter, you're not playing well. They'll spam it when they get angry, or they'll spam nice game and stuff when you're.
So I wonder if Booyah gets spammed.
Booyah probably gets spammed.
Yeah, they no matter what the tools you work with, you find a way to be toxic with it, and that's just online gaming.
Yeah, even pinging, people mark you with an ignore marker when they don't like you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When they think you're doing bad.
That's legitimately one of the most toxic online things I've ever heard. Pinging a person with ignore is so funny.
Okay. It's time for Keep It Up, which is the exact opposite of Sort Out. Something that you're enjoying in gaming. So, company, game, whatever. Kyle, do you have anything?
Brad, I have to apologize. I need to use the restroom.
That's okay. Sure. Go ahead and do it.
Can I do that right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
Because, I do have a Keep It Up.
Okay, we'll get back to you when you come
back.
All right, Damiani, do you have a Keep It Up or anything like that? Anything you're like, hell yes?
I didn't have enough top head because I kind of figured I was going to have one, and I could think of one after that. I feel bad. I never really think about this in advance.
I never do.
I do want to say, we'll talk about it in a segment after, but I mean, we've been saying keep it up to Capcom quite a bit, so I'm trying to think of someone else. Well, I mean, nah, I don't want to get that. Like, I haven't experienced it. I mean, I don't know how that Nintendo thing's going to be. I was going to say, like, you know what, Nintendo, like, keep it up for doing, like, an in-person event. Like, like
I think that's appropriate.
Like, whatever it's going to be, I'm just glad they're getting back to a big in-person something.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it at the top of the show, but even if it just ends up being a literal carbon copy of the Japan events they've been doing, it's just something that shows that they're involved and they want to be an active participant in the community.
Yeah.
Just because skipping E3, last year not even having a 2 years ago not having like a summer E3 or like just not doing the typical expected thing of people. This is unexpected. Like, I never thought they were going to come back and do like a big live event, whether it's going to be a fan experience or something like that. Fair. So
I wish more companies did this. I miss PSX. I loved that.
Yeah, I hope this like gets like Sony like, you know what? Nintendo has been the industry leader in changing trends. They did directs. They stopped doing live press conferences. You know what? We were doing PlayStation Experience first. Let's bring it back. Let's remind people we did that before they did this.
Yeah.
So I'd love it if it put pressure on Sony to say, hey, guess what? This December, PlayStation Experience back again. We're doing it this year.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't expect this Nintendo thing to be near that level scale at all. I don't think so at all. But it's just cool to see a company do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? Kyle, what do you got?
Sorry, on top of that, because I was thinking about this Nintendo thing too, is like, I think like there's something intangible about it, right? In that like it's engaging your most devoted fans in a sentimental way. And so you know how like there's just like Disney people, you know what I mean? Like this is how you do it, is these live events. And so like you're making Nintendo people obviously exist already, but like you're just increasing their sentiment when you have an event like this, and it's more social and they see other people who love the same shit they do. Like it's just, to me, it's just smart. It's hard to see it on the bottom line when you are like working out your budgets, and which is why I think PSX stopped. But like, yeah, I think those are valuable events to set up. So I have a Keep It Up classic.
Okay.
It's not something current. Okay. It's something that I experienced in a game I was playing this week. And
You're breaking the rule. A classic, dude. This is a new iteration on it. I'll allow it.
It's like a bring it back almost.
Okay.
It's almost like a bring it back. Stunting. So this is when you're in a car. The game I was playing is Wheelman, which is the game Vin Diesel starred in on the 360.
Wow.
It's when you're in a car and with the right analog stick, you can ram it right or ram it left or ram it forward. And so basically this is the ability to ram in a vehicle rapidly to do damage to other cars. To me, is like a video game feature that is just like part of what makes video games so special. It just feels great to be driving forward and just suddenly ram to your right and make a car explode. And so shunting, keep it up. Keep it going. Keep the shunting happening. Any game that I'm in a car from now henceforth, I want to be able to shunt.
Shunting.
Bloworth is pleased.
I feel weird saying that word. It feels like inappropriate almost, but...
The back half is inappropriate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but... I respect it. Kyle, I could see that happening is in if the new Twisted Metal game comes out. I don't know if it'd work necessarily the same, but dude. Some car combat game maybe.
Because that's the thing with car combat games is you feel like you're limited in your movement, right? Yeah. And Twisted Metal is like, oh, the guy just passed me. Fuck. Now I have to like reverse. Yeah. And like I'm like they have me in their sights this whole time.
Slow ass ice cream truck. Yeah.
Yeah. So like having like rapid movement, I think would really help something like. Twisted Metal needs a dodge roll. It needs something that extreme.
You need a stamina bar.
I was trying to get like was F-Zero.
Yeah.
F-Zero X and GX. X has like hunting. You can ram left and right. It also has the spin ram where you just like start like you just want to like find a big just group of like rivals or enemy cars and you just want to speed into them and hit that spin and go burn. Like seeing Bloodworth do it. It's also pretty satisfying when he whiffs too, but like when he actually hits them, it's like, boom, they go exploding all over the place, and you get the Butterworth like, ha ha. It's like really good and satisfying to see that. That's something great because like that doesn't exist. That's not even a Mario Kart. That's something Mario Kart should absolutely be doing. Like I don't understand.
Oh my god.
Like almost like road rage, road rash, like kicking. Like get near a car. I want to be able to like ram you and kick you and stuff.
If
like
you could use a chain in Mario Kart and hit like a Toad in the head with a chain, that would be so.
No, Toad's the one. Okay, yeah, Donkey Kong hits Toad with it. Like
yeah, or like you could throw a barrel as Donkey Kong at someone.
Yeah, I want to be able to side throw at stuff. They got front and back. Imagine if someone's passing in the side, you could do like a side view, Luigi eyes style. Yeah. They get right near you. It's like target, bam. That's the new. That's right there. That's the next Mario Kart. They're gonna do side attacks.
And I think there would have to be like some stamina bar attached to it, so you don't spam it constantly the whole race. So if I am Luigi and I do my shunt, like that was my shunt for like the next 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like I can't just shunt.
Kyle, it should cost coins. Because they bring back the coin collection that made you go faster. Mm-hmm. You do that, it's still making contact. You lose coins, you lose speed. Yeah. So it costs you speed. Oh man,
then you're driven to pick up more. You like take alternate paths to pick up more coins so that you could shunt some more. Yeah.
But if you actually shunt hard enough and they just like you disable their cart like they spin out, maybe it drops you a coin reward. You could go pick it up. So it kind of like,
shunt, I realize also sounds like shit. I realize why it sounds like a dirty word because there's just so many components to that word.
Yeah, it's complicated.
I get it, Brad. Yeah.
I mean, you could say it all you want. It's not banned yet. So
I mean, yeah.
It may be a time, so get it out while you can.
All right.
For me, I don't know what the hell people should keep up right now. There's a lot of good stuff. I'm just enjoying games pretty much right now.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff right now.
Oh,
what?
You know what? I'm gonna keep it up to one more, just real quick. Don't need to go in depth.
Yeah.
Just to the Mario movie.
I was gonna ask Kyle. I forgot to ask you, Kyle. Did you see it
yet? Okay. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I didn't want. Yeah, I don't know. Still
Everyone's
fresh.
waited on bated breath for Kyle's opinion on that movie.
Still fresh. So that's all I'll say is keep it up.
Yeah, do a separate video for that. We'll see. We'll see what Kyle here feeling.
I'll say like I'm proud of them. You know what I mean? They put in the work on this one.
Yeah,
I feel
they did.
Like. They did it their way, and then it's just like breaking records. So like, yeah, I think that's a pretty cool achievement.
Proud of you. Yeah. Proud of you, Nintendo. You know, keep it up, Nintendo. Good job.
Keep it up.
Keep it up with your, like doing something cool with your IP, I guess. You're like making an anime movie. That's cool. Don't fuck up Zelda, though. Mm-hmm. Be careful. Be real careful. And for God's sakes, just bring F-Zero back. So that's not even keep it up. That's a sort it out, I guess.
Yeah, that's a sort it out.
Yeah, I'm breaking the rules. All right, let's hear from Casper J877. Keep it up. Ghostwire Tokyo getting a free major update to make the game feel new with a new mode, extended story, cutscenes and ears, and more. Not only will this make it replayable, it will bring new players. Keep it up, Tango. Cool game, dude.
Yeah,
really cool game. Like that game.
And I think that's coinciding with its release on Game Pass.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's a cool idea, and I'm guessing that they're able to do that because of Microsoft owning them and be like, hey, like when you are available on Game Pass, to make it exciting because everybody, like, it came out on PlayStation a year ago. Like let's give them a reason to be excited that the game's out now.
That's a good point.
I agree.
It's also on Plus Extra too. So if you have either of those, I would highly recommend this game. It's really cool. This is from Old Hunter Zera. Keep it up, Capcom. I'm 60 plus hours into RE4 and about 10 hours from getting my platinum. Thank you for only adding playable or payable items that don't make it feel like I'm missing out. Exactly how these things should work. Keep it up, love and respect to you all. I wouldn't say keep it up with the microtransactions. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but you're still missing out on like costumes you didn't get the deluxe edition.
Oh, that is true. You have to pay $19.99 if you want those.
And the soundtrack, the original soundtrack.
So again, I got a copy of the game provided to me, but I did not get the deals that stuff. So I had to spend
I spent $20.
Yeah, $20
no question.
To get those out.
I had no problem spending it, but
what do you mean you had no problem? You both spent $20 for those costumes?
Yeah, I wanted them. I got the game for free also, Kyle. I had no problem.
I wasn't 100% sure what costumes I was getting. And I have to say, I was slightly disappointed with some of them. I was expecting a little bit more.
Just look them up, dude.
There's romantic outfit which looks like they're...
It's the puffy Jerry Seinfeld shirt.
Yeah, like French.
Oh, so it's not sexy romantic.
Oh,
it's
I think it is to some people.
Like Shakespearean poetic.
Dude, just look it up real quick, Kyle.
There's Villain, where he literally just looks like freaking...
He's V from Devil May Cry.
VV from Devil May Cry.
With some bird feathers.
Yeah. Then there's Hero, which is like... That's
my least favorite.
Yeah. What is... Like, it's like I don't know, like 1800s, 1700s, like battle...
It seems
leather.
It seems like further in the past.
Maybe further. Yeah, I don't know when it is, but like it's like historical looking battle suit.
Yeah.
Not armor, but like leather, like a hunter. Not quite a hunter, but something else. And it was the casual attire.
I like that one.
So Leon's got a cool jacket. If you put on like those sport glasses, he's like I played through with that. That was the most satisfying because hearing all his one-liners with that, I was like, absolutely, what a badass.
Oh, it looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I wish you could unlock them in the game just naturally, but I mean, I love Resident Evil, so I would have bought it anyways.
Leon's romantic costume shows a lot of chest.
Yeah, dude.
The Jerry Seinfeld one is puffy all the way up to the neck.
I just gave you a brief description.
Open.
Yeah. Just a brief description, but the shirt is semi-accurate. Semi.
Yeah, I see.
And Ashley's got a few, too, from that.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, whatever. It's... could be worse DLC for sure. Could be like Assassin's Creed where I just looked at it and I want to barf.
It also comes with the... this was pretty good. Original soundtrack. That's a bummer they did not include the option.
Yeah, you have to buy.
But, like, that original soundtrack played with the remake holds up. The new soundtrack's really good too. Like the new minecart music, especially the second phase part, is so good. But man, the classic RE4 music just matches up really well with the new game too. Like it still holds up, and I was having a good time with it.
I have a keep it up. You sparked it in my mind, Damiani.
Sure.
The pixel remasters, they did some alterations to them now.
Oh yeah,
some different fonts, a little better now. The original soundtracks are now in there, and there's like. You could adjust how much XP and stuff. I'm not going to use that. You can turn off random encounters, but it's there if you want it. So they put in more effort into this version. Thank God.
All right.
The fonts are huge. The fonts was a huge complaint the whole time, and they never changed it on the Steam releases. Well, so it was surprising that actually it's added.
Test.
I'm surprised it did it because everyone just added the 3 fonts, the custom fonts.
I know.
Yeah.
I downloaded it too. Yeah, that's how I played it.
And it looked really nice. So I'm a little disappointed I can't do that on my Switch when I get the Pixel Remaster Collection, that I can't use like the Mystic Quest or Final Fantasy VI font. It's going to be the slightly improved font. So to me, it's still going to look like a downgrade.
Yeah.
Like
PC, the most customization always.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's all right. I finally get to play on my Switch on the go how I wanted, not having to sit on my dumb computer playing old Final Fantasy games.
Yep. This is from John Wojkowski. Keep it up. PlayStation Remote Play and Share Play. With good internet, these features are amazing. My friend and I use Share Play to play couch co-op online games multiple times a week. Thanks to this, we've played through Grim Gal Guardians, Resident Evil Revelations 2, all the Dark Pictures games, and even Cuphead. My friend's favorite part is when we don't have to buy 2 copies of each game, and he can blame lag when he dies. I wish they'd sort out.
I'm sure that happens.
Yes, I wish they could sort out the 1-hour timer, but I know they won't. I don't know what the 1-hour timer is. I'm not sure what that is.
I mean, is that the cap on how long you could share?
Maybe.
And then you have to like
maybe. I don't know. I never do that, but that's cool. I'm glad you had fun with it. That's cool, especially with the rumors of their handheld being remote play only.
Like a Wii U gamepad.
Yeah. All right, we got some shout outs for some of our most generous patrons. I believe it's the Platinum tier now. I forgot we changed the name of it, but anyways,
we were called it Platinum Producer.
Platinum Producer, yeah. We got Jabbawabs. That's how you say it, Jabbawabs. Not Jabbawabs, how Jones said it. So it was in my brain. It's like Elmer Fudd. Elthanas, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Raymond Wheeler III, ZeoVGM, Ghost Samurai, and Garrett Hulfish. Thank you very much. Shout out, Kyle. Do you got a shout out for them? Give him a little shout. There it is, dude. Very nice. Very Western. Did you play Live Alive, Kyle?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Did you like it?
No.
Okay.
I thought I would love that game. And I think that's why I didn't like it. It's just that I didn't love it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Coming into that game, I'm like, oh man, this is my bread and butter. I'm going to love this game. This is right down my wheelhouse. And no, I thought a lot of it just kind of fell flat.
Sure. Super Nintendo game. kind of.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So is Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, that's true. It's a reason one of them came over and the other didn't, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, the next game, Kyle, I think you've actually played some of this, but I booted this up yesterday. I've been meaning to play this. Is Tchia.
I played a bunch of Tchia, yeah.
Yeah, I just played this for the first time yesterday. Nice. I was curious about it. Like, I know Bloodworth reviewed it, and I think he liked it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know much about this game. I just know it's like you sailing around some very jolly areas. It's inspired by New Caledonia, I believe. That's where the developers are from a lot of it. But yeah, it's just a really charming game. So like I said, I only played a few hours, and the structure of it is very interesting to me. So basically, you are on this world, and you go to different spots the game tells you to, and you collect things. It seems like for most of the things, like. There's not like combat really or anything like there is some, but it's not the focus at all. I feel like the focus of this game is just being in this world and being cool with just kind of exploring it at a weird pace. One thing I kind of like about it is you have a compass. So the game the game won't tell you necessarily exactly where you're on the map, Damiani. So if you're like, yo, here's the map, I need to go over here. You can put a pin on the map, like an actual pin. Then your compass will show it up. So you got to follow the compass there. Instead of just like a normal waypoint, like a big Skyrim triangle pointing down, telling you where it is. It's a little more...
Gotcha.
You got to think a little more. It's not necessarily super hard or anything like that, but it's a little more. And when you're like somewhere on the map, it doesn't exactly show you exactly where you are. You can get like a little hint, and the game will like circle. They're like, hey, you're somewhere in this kind of region. So it's like, all right, I got to explore a little bit about that. But basically, the game opens up. You're on this island with your dad. Super jolly. He plays some guitar for you. You interact with him. This seems to be something that happens in the game quite often, is you interact in these songs. I did like 3 of them, and I only played like 2 hours, which they're fine, but I don't think they're like... You can thankfully just put on autopilot, so you can just kind of zone it back out, Damiani.
Okay.
But pretty much like... He's playing the guitar earlier on. Cool. You have a little ukulele. This I do like is it has like all the notes you could play in your ukulele, and you can just kind of go around like that. You can play songs.
With the analog stick. It's like to me, it's a lot like Last of Us Part 2.
Yes, this is exactly what it's like. But just for, I'm going to get more into that, but just for these parts, it's like, it's a very simple Guitar Hero thing. You push like one button to do it. And I'm like, all right, that's fine if you want to interact, but you can thankfully just not hear your dad sing all that cool stuff. Fine. But, this dude comes in, this psycho, like on a chopper dude comes in, abducts your dad. Then Tchia could apparently inhabit objects, and she doesn't know how she does this, but she like inhabits a machete, dude, and cuts the dude across the face, which I thought was pretty sick. He gets taken away. You get taken away with this other guy to hide out. You got a little cool boat retreat. Visually, this game looks... I really like the way this game looks. I'm sure you could probably agree, maybe.
Imagine Wind Waker. It's
kind of like modern... Yeah. Like, they're heavily inspired by Wind Waker, but if you could actually swim underwater, that's the game, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
But you're on this little cool floating big raft thing. Your big shell base, as you would. Then you can get a little raft, and you go sailing out. You get to this island. I got to this island with a town, actually, with like people walk around. Very, you could tell this game's like obviously a smaller game, and there's some NPCs walk around. Not a lot of stuff to do in it yet. Like there's a food cart I found where you could like eat food, I guess. Kyle, does that heal you or something?
It fills your inhabiting meter.
Oh, that's what it does. So your inhabiting meter goes down permanently?
There's like, it's weird. You can only like fill it up halfway just over time. Oh. And then like there's like going to be like 1 or 2 more nodes. And so if you eat, it fills up the entire nodes of your meter.
I didn't know
really
if you
weird.
got like hurt or something, it would refill your health like a Yakuza game. I don't know. I didn't get like hit by anything really in the game because there's not a lot of enemies I've ran into yet.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
it's
exactly
like
sure.
It's like healing over time kind of thing where you don't have an HP meter, but you know, if you get hit too many times, you'll die.
Yeah.
Or if you fall from too great a height. I did definitely had some falling.
But
deaths.
you have like a glider. Like you have like the Wind Waker leaf thing, but like you have some stamina also, so you can't do it forever. Kind of like Breath of the Wild, I guess. But you can also find some stuff to upgrade it a little bit. I found like a few fruit that gave it like, hey, you get like +1. It was at 20 it started at, but then it went to 21. So I guess by exploring, you can upgrade that, which is very nice. But anyways, you're on this island. You want to go to this corporate headquarters to meet this guy. they do this whole thing where you have to like take a ticket, you got to wait your turn, but you inevitably get denied access to this place. So then you got to like you have to do this like whole custom thing, Kyle, I believe, to see them. You have to present them a custom, which ties into like the culture of New Caledonia. They're talking about like that's a big part of the game.
Giving.
Yeah, it's
if
like
you want
giving.
to introduce yourself
you got
to
to give
someone,
like a gift. That's something you do throughout the game when you meet someone. You like give a gift. You go collect pearls for someone or offer that as a gift like that. But it's really jolly, and I do like inhabiting stuff, Damiani. So you can inhabit like pretty much anything. You can inhabit a rock and just bounce around if you want. Just throw it. You can inhabit a bird and just fly around. There's some weird, like some of these things have prompts, like abilities you can do. Like the bird, you can just poop. I don't know. What did you think of that, Kyle?
Did you not press the poop button? No, okay. I hate that kind of shit.
You didn't even try it? Okay, I did it. It's just there. It's there. I guess you could do it.
But like a crab can pinch.
Yeah, you can turn a crab and like pinch around.
Dogs can dig.
I turned into a shark, swam around like you do chomps like that.
Cool.
It's a very just like jolly, relaxing game so far. Obviously, it's kind of you're like trying to get your dad back, which is very terrifying. But it's a very like comfy world, very relaxing. It reminds me of Wind Waker Damiani, but with like not enemies to fight so far. You have a slingshot, you could shoot some stuff at, but I haven't like shot at anything like that yet. So I'm still figuring out kind of like what the game is, I feel like. But I've played it and I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of inviting. I'm having like a jolly time here. I don't know if it would hold me the whole way through, but I liked what I played so far. I do wish when I was playing, I could not help but being like, man, I wish Wind Waker 2 happened where I could just do this and go underwater. Like you can just sail in the ocean down and just jump off your raft and go swimming down if you want to go find stuff. It's really sick. There's just like amount of freedom, but like I don't know how much cool shit's out there yet. I hope there is. I don't know yet, but I was like, yeah, this game's cool.
Do you keep like the raft that you sail on? Can you make improvements to it or anything like that, or is it? You
can only change it cosmetically.
Yeah, you can change cosmetics. You can change like your character's clothes and stuff like that. You can change like their shirt, put a hat on. You get some like face paint too later on like that. Just little stuff. But I didn't see anything like stat improve wise for your ship or your little raft.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if you can like make it bigger or anything, or if it just stays the same size.
I have no idea.
Okay,
I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like you need a bigger one because you don't need to store anything really. You have a backpack. You can pick stuff up and just put in your backpack.
Do they have anything with like weather, the waves? Like, can it get like stormy out?
There's
and,
like
waves
rain.
get bigger?
I haven't seen any like gnarly waves
like,
or anything.
Sail out in like a storm, or is that? Like,
I'm not sure yet. No. I've been out on the ocean. It's been raining, but I haven't seen like tidal waves or anything crazy like that.
So, Brad, what you touched on it really. So I quit this game.
Okay.
I did play a bunch of this game. I put in my time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like satisfied with it, and I stopped. And what's so funny is that phrase you use where like you're not sure if there's any cool shit left. Mm-hmm. Basically, I saw all the cool shit.
Okay.
And then I felt content. And so the game really does, it's very open. Mm-hmm. Pretty much in almost, every area of the game, you can just go to, once that first, like, once you've had that meeting, right? Once you go to that building and you're like, okay, now the quest has begun. You can pretty much like go wherever you want. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of did, right? And so there's like a weird argument to be made that like I was given too much access to the game. I did the whole like treasure hunt. I love this shit where like you get a treasure map in a game, right?
Yeah.
And it just shows you a drawing of a spot and you got to figure out where that is.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
And that's like a really cool side quest in this game, like a running treasure hunt. And so I did that, right? And then I felt like I just did the coolest thing in this game. I don't really care to see more. And so I stopped. Like I'd been to every part of every island, you know what I mean? I've seen all of the locations. I've been to all these corners. And so I feel like I've seen the whole game. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not really driven to see more.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, it's cool how open the game is.
Yeah, I guess I'm probably just in the honeymoon phase where I'm just enjoying being in the world for as it is for now. Like I just like looking. I'm playing on PC. It looks very nice so far. Like I'm looking at the sky and all the colors. I'm like, I just like being here right now.
So I'm just confused about risking your dad. Then, if you do want to like see this completion, like how do you even like? How's that tracked or anything like that? Like, is that more?
There's like a main story quest. Like I had to try to get this meeting. That was part of the main story.
Yeah.
Thing.
But
then
like
they sent me off
yeah.
to another island to talk to this person to get these things to present.
So it's just like a bunch of like fetch quests.
That's what it seems like right now. The funny thing about this game, Damiani, is though there's a skip function. you could skip parts of the game if you are stuck.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey,
or if you're just annoyed.
Yeah, if you're annoyed, but they're like, hey, if you do this, you might miss out on some like lore or some cool aspects. Like I did it just to try it because they were like, go find some pearls in the water. I was like, well, I've already done that, so I'll just skip to see what it's like. And it's just like, whoop. And I was like, oh, weird. That's like kind of interesting they added that in there.
All right. So
like, it's weird to me that they added an option to skip their game because they're afraid people weren't enjoying it or couldn't figure it out.
I think it might be an accessibility thing.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Like, if you just don't know where to find something, maybe?
It's the, like, ethical opposite of Resident Evil 4 offering $2.99 to buy a ticket.
Yeah, but Resident Evil 4 is not like, yo, skip this chapter if you just want.
I know, yeah, that would be way worse, I guess. But yeah, I think it's an accessibility thing.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just a weird thing to come to, I guess. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what their playtesting was like. I have no ideas. But I was just surprised by it, I guess.
So this game actually, Brad, it does one of my pet peeves. Mm-hmm. And Damiani, it's why I don't care about rescuing the father, is that actually the actual beginning of this is a bunch of children being told the story.
That's right,
Tchia.
In the orphanage, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
so basically,
a minute
you know what I mean?
half.
Like, it's pretending that nothing of, like, that you're actually playing is real. You're just playing the story of Tchia.
But what if it is real, Kyle? What if you find out, like, at the end, Tchia is like the old lady telling the story or something?
Oh, that would help. Well, give me a wink. So
I have no idea.
If that's actually how it ends, text me a wink face. And I'll be like, okay, I'll get back in.
If I
But for now, like, I don't want to. There's no stakes in a story of a story. You know.
Yeah, I get that. I guess
it's one of my pet peeves.
Story within a story.
What about the Princess Bride then?
You know I hate Princess Bride. That's why the whole Shrek thing started, Damiani.
I know.
Hate that movie.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, I guess the cool hook about the game too, also like Brother, is just like soul transferring it like into animals, like your Ino from Naruto or some shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like I just turned into like a gazelle or like an elk or something. I just run around a forest, like jumping around. It's goofy.
That's what I was expecting from all I've seen of this game before it came out. I was expecting that possession thing was going to be one of the core things to like. People give you quests and it's like, oh, this bird, like you listen to the NPC and be like, well, the birds have no trouble doing this. So it's like, oh, I got to go collect some like eggs or something from this bird nest. So like if I just become the bird, it'll let me go up there and like take the eggs. I can fly away, or some hard to reach place to get something, or you need to get pearls in the ocean. Well, become a fish. It'll be easier to swim down and like, you know, whatever, like stuff like, or a crab and go like pick one up. I was expecting a little bit more
I think
structured
it'll probably turn into that more so.
I would say it's much more open-ended than that. They will say go get pearls, and it is faster if you're a fish, but they never like you must be a fish to do this.
Oh,
exactly.
I wasn't like I was not necessarily saying that NPCs are going to tell you, but like if you like paid attention to like maybe some idle chatter, it'd be like, oh, like, you know, you're at the wharf and like you need to go pearls, and someone's like, oh, those pesky crabs have been stealing all the pearls. Like, well, there you go. Like, you know, actually rewarded for engaging with the world by getting some more information, like the world building.
This is very much still an open world game with the tropes of like your towers, you know? There's like points in the game you just climb up and Tchia just goes, blah, like yells in it, like kind of just shows you on the world, stuff like that. If you unlock like docks or whatever, you can fast travel to them. So there's some traditional open world stuff there. But yeah, I would like to keep playing it. It's peaceful right now, but I don't know how long it'll last. But I'll write it out till it gets boring or whatever.
Okay.
Reptile Scorpio wrote and said, howdy, allies. I love Tchia so much. It has such a cozy, earnest vibe running through the whole thing. I'm honestly blown away by how fun it is to move around. Being able to scale everything is a ton of fun, and I'm shocked at how few issues I've had in terms of getting stuck on geometry or Tchia moving differently to what I had imagined in my brain. As someone who has been on holiday to New Caledonia, it got me thinking of other unique places I'd love to explore, such as a truly dense city like New York. Do you have any holiday destinations you'd love to revisit in video game form?
All right. Well, firstly, I'm going to recommend Spider-Man to the person who wrote
I was
this
saying that,
question.
like, I thought, everyone thought Spider-Man.
So, yeah, very good recommendation, but also to give like a little bit of like a positive shout out to Forspoken, you know, given its reception. First chapter of that game is in New York. and you're walking around New York with the potential of like this open world New York. And I'm like, could I just spend my whole time here with all those cool powers, like, you know, Infamous prototype style, and just like be set in the city? I mean, that was really, really tempting. But if you want like a more chill, just walking the streets for like maybe like 20 minutes, you could do that as well. But Spider-Man's definitely the way to go, or Miles Morales, yeah.
One of my favorite trips I've ever taken was to Havana in Cuba.
Cool.
And like Far Cry 6 is like a Cuba-like. You're right. They never call it this. It's also like, it's, you know, it's its own made-up country, I think. And I was like tempted. I was a little, but it's still a Far Cry game, and I still said no. But parts of it were like, man, that's like, it's such an interesting spot to put a video game in. Almost, but still, it was a little too Far Cry for me to take that leap.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Places I'd like to do, you know. Why don't you do South Dakota? Let's just set something there in South Dakota.
You've been to South Dakota?
Yeah.
Why?
Family reunion.
You have family in South Dakota?
Yeah, some.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it? If I close my eyes and imagine South Dakota, I'm just like imagining like Rocky Mountains.
Not where I was.
But like craggy mountains, I guess.
I don't really
know. What was
know
it
how
like
to
where you were?
Describe it, Kyle. I don't know. Like, it reminded me of the Sandlot for some reason. Some of it, like there was a pool that just reminded me of the Sandlot there. Just some neighborhoods. I don't know. I can't like.
You want to play a game where it's just like a pool in neighborhoods?
Just some weird ass setting, Kyle. Just some weird, unexpected place. Every movie
takes place in South Dakota because it's boring. Yeah.
Every game and movie is like, we're in San Francisco. We're in New York City. You've been here 8 million times. It's like, take me somewhere else I've never been. Somewhere. That's what I want. Some weird ass place we never go.
So let's go to South Dakota. Yeah, sure.
I want next GTA 7 on the moon.
Yeah, sure. Why the fuck not?
Future GTA.
Because there's nothing on the moon.
No,
not yet, Kyle.
Future
you make it.
GTA Future. It's like a future city on the moon. GTA 7.
Okay.
What?
I'm not buying it.
Yes, you would.
Okay.
You're a streamer. You would absolutely buy it.
Promise me you actually want to play that video game.
What, GTA on the moon?
If it like looks sick and like they have like space missions and stuff, like goofy ass like you know, in their own like engine, like doing like instead of like flying a plane now, it's like a spaceship mission or whatever. And like
Kyle,
like, you got space guns now.
I would love for GTA to be somewhere I haven't played already in a GTA game.
Oh yeah, that's not happening for 20 more years.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like we're just going to the same fucking places every time. It's like they obviously look way different because they're on different generations. Like, I can't wait to be in fucking Vice City again because that's where 6 is gonna be. It's like cool. You can go anywhere in the world, but we keep going to the same places again. Could be on the fucking
let's
moon,
go to South
dude.
Dakota. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to South Dakota, dude, or North Dakota, whatever. Go to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I guess North Dakota is more mountainous than South Dakota. I get it. Yeah, all right.
I don't know the geography too well there. Let us know. Let us know if you live in one of the Dakotas, dude. Write in. Tell us about it. I'll be sure to inform Kyle. All right, this is from Matthew Leonard. Tchia, this game keeps putting me to sleep in such a chill. It's such a chill time, and just running around or traveling on boat, I find myself falling asleep. Anyone else gets sleepy playing certain games? Animal Crossing made me tired. I'll say that.
Playing a game, like a repetitive thing in a game, or a game I've played a lot right before. Was it Fire Emblem Engage? Playing it in my bed with like the neck thing that holds my Switch up for me when I'm lying down in my bed, so I can just like. Oh, Kyle,
dude,
Kyle
is this something you talked about before?
Oh, Kyle doesn't know about this,
dude.
So
Huber is obsessed with this thing.
like
Huber's got one too.
No. Huber is obsessed that Damiani does this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like last year. Forget who. Someone I follow on Twitter was tweeting out like life hack stuff. There was a trend like tweet out your life hack thing, and someone's like, I use this for my phone in bed so I don't get like, you know, the gooseneck thing by like looking up at your phone in your bed and hurting your neck. And I'm like, wait, what? And it's this like little like crane thing, like this like, I don't know, it's like this like pole thing that can bend real easily, and one attaches to your bedpost if you have one, or you have a desk or a side table next to it. You can attach it to anything that can clamp onto. And then it's very sturdy, and you can like bend it so you can like angle it over your head so you can like lie down and you're like looking, it's like right in front of you as you're lying down on your pillow. And so you can either use the Joy-Cons or just hold a Pro controller. And so I was using it for my phone, but then I found out it could hold up my Switch as well. And so I love just playing a game and like instead of like going to sleep and like trying to hold a game, like I'm too tired, I don't want to do that. I just put it up there and I can like play it, like my arms are relaxed and stuff. It's so much better for you.
So you're like gaining like an extra 20 to 30 minutes, I bet, of playing the game.
Yeah, and it's not it's avoiding the discomfort. Like I don't need to stay up in my desk to play on like docked or anything. And it was never very like in bed I can like maybe do like 20 minutes tops, probably 15 minutes before I had to reposition myself because I was getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get that.
Now I don't do this. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like I'll maybe like 45 minutes, like I will feel like I need to like maybe turn or something. It's like you probably shouldn't do it for too long of a time, no matter what. Like just like you shouldn't stare at a TV for too long. But yeah, like I've done it. I like it makes me love going like to lie down and play a game at the end. And yeah, it's just a lot of games. Like even RE4. I was playing OG RE4 in the lead up to remake. And I get to a part where I'm just like running, backtracking, and I'm dozing off. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, hit the power, like, you know, the sleep button, and like, all right, and I can just go back. I can go to sleep like that. So nice. I just like hit the power button or something, push it to the side, and like go to sleep.
So that's nice. Like addict behavior.
Bring it back over. Yeah, I get it.
Well, for phone, it's great because the alarm's going off. You're fumbling for your phone for your alarm. I know it's right there. I just like bump. It's like Jetson style. I'm like,
that is cool.
It's really nice.
Oh, one last thing about Tchia before I forget, because I didn't bring it up, is so your ukulele, Damiani. Mm-hmm. It's very Zelda-like. You can play songs on your ukulele to do things. I think like what I have right now is like
saw this
you could change the time of day.
Yep.
Just by playing a little song. Just a very simple like Zelda-like system. But I was like, oh, it's cute. I like that.
Some of the best ones are like you can summon particular animals. So like
cool.
If you need a dog, you do like DAAG, right?
Yeah.
And then a dog appears, and then you can like go into that dog immediately, and then just you can be a dog for a second.
That is cool. I do like that. Did you do the rock balancing thing, dude? It was kind of like weird too. You can bounce some rocks, Damiani, too, in the game at some parts.
That's how you unlock new songs. Yeah.
And I was like fiddling with the rock. I was like, this is not as like smooth as I want it to be, and I just like made some abomination of my rock standing up like that because it's like it's whatever.
Unrealistic physics.
Yeah, it's like it's whatever.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, you've been playing Fortnite. You've been playing
for a long time.
Yeah, a long time now. Have you been playing a lot this season?
Weekly, since October, basically.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I've got my weekly like
Fortnite
friend group that plays video games together.
Cool.
Every Tuesday night. We group up. And we used to like just go through a game, multiplayer, you know what I mean? We'd play it for a couple of months and we move on to the next one.
You played Ultimate Alliance 3 with this group, right? Was this group?
One of the guys, yeah, but Ultimate Alliance, oh, you're right. Yeah, this is that group. I forgot. You can play more than one other person with Ultimate Alliance 3. Hell yeah. Yeah, we played Ghost of Tsushima. We played Strange Brigade. You know,
sick.
You go through them. Through them. But we have not dropped Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite has become like Fortnite night every Tuesday. So I'm like deep into Fortnite.
Yeah, hell yeah. Dude.
I'm like checking subreddits. I'm like looking forward to the weeklies. You know what I mean?
Getting the leaks.
Tonight is Fortnite night, and I'm excited to hop in and get some new weeklies.
It's Attack on Titan stuff now.
It is. Yeah.
You can get Eren Yeager with the battle pass.
Yeah. I don't honestly love Attack on Titan.
I mean, I don't like. Yeah, but I'm just saying, I know a lot of people do, so you get hyped. I'm still waiting for One Piece characters. That's what I'm waiting for.
I mean, they added them to Overwatch in a weird way, but anyway,
One Punch Man.
Yeah, it's fucking weird how well they're supporting the game, I guess. You know what I mean? How like we're talking about like, yeah, this is a season, right? And each new week there is a new thing that's different. And each like couple of weeks there's like something that changes everything dynamically, right? Like this week with Attack on Titan. They're like the thigh blasters they shoot out.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, now we got our thigh blasters that like now you can just use your little thigh blaster cords to zoom over here and then slash a guy. Like that's just crazy. What a crazy thing to add to a game, and then just like it'll be gone in a few more weeks, you know? Like that's just temporary.
And it might never come back.
So
so like
the gear.
The omnidirectional mobility gear thing, like that thing holy crap.
Yeah. You might want to invent Damiani.
I just want to see it.
They just added it for the hell of it.
Yeah, just because they can.
It's so crazy to me how well the game is supported, and just like it's been wild to like, you know, Fortnite's been around for a while and I've never gotten into it. And I think it was no build mode made it
I think that brought a lot of people in. A lot of people. I got into it late too.
What I admire about it so much is that like it makes it fun even if you're not winning. You know what I mean? Like my goal is seldom to win. My goal usually is to like complete my quests. And so like they need people like me to feed into this ecosphere of people for other people to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you have a game that's like 100 people and one person wins, 99 people are disappointed unless you give them something to be happy about. And like that's what they've really nailed. I'm really impressed by all that.
I just think the world is so interesting to be into. I think it's an awesome world, honestly, the island. Like the new they added like a cyberpunk city, Damiani, essentially now. And it looks so sick. There's like holograms in the sky and everything. You got these awesome like motorcycles now that you could ride on, dude. It's just like I don't understand. Grind rails, it could be Sonic the Hedgehog now, unfortunately, but I just like am so impressed about this game. Like for years we heard Huber talking about it, you know, always talking, gushing, dude. You know, Theranos is in. It's like I was kind of always like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to build though. I'm like, I don't care about that shit, you know, baby game. But then like it just happened, man. I just got into it. I was like, all right, I think having a friend group like Kyle does, like I play with Huber and our friend Grumbomb. If you just have a friend group like it, this is such a great game that anyone can hop into. It doesn't cost anything, and you can play this on any platform, whatever you got. You can play with people on different platforms. It's so easy to play with people in this game. I think that's one of its greatest strengths, too. And Kyle, I do love the Battle Pass in the sense that if you do it, you get enough currency every time to buy another Battle Pass.
Yeah.
So you could just buy one Battle Pass and just keep unlocking the battle passes every single season for free if you want to do that. And
to me, it's the model. It's it's what everyone else should be looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Destiny should be looking at. If you're making a game as a service right now, just look at
Overwatch
Fortnite. At
2
least
needs
consider
to
what
do
they're doing.
this. They need to look at
so
this.
basically the only few remaining ones that have any chance should look at this, since everyone else trying to get into this should stop, since so many have been closing down this year.
I'm telling you, Suicide Squad should be taking notes.
They won't, but
Suicide
they should.
Squad. Good Lord. Very nervous about that game. I think everyone is.
Yeah, like Brad, so like, is the season like 3 months, 3 or 4 months?
Yeah, it's like basically 3 or 4 months, yeah.
There's something to do every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're progressing across this timeline.
New quests, new story.
The friend who's like not into it gets to a certain level. The friend who's way too into it finishes the season pass, but then there's more shit beyond that even.
Yeah.
And so like it's like strangely like they know how to make a progression.
They do.
And keep you motivated to continue playing.
Yeah.
Maybe in a dark way, like maybe it's bad, but I'm really impressed by the way that they implement their hooks.
Yeah, I am too. Their monetization and like player retention strategies are very good. I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah. I've been
you've played with us, and you've had a good time.
I recognize how, the quality and the effort that Epic is putting into that. That's why it is.
And only like so many companies can afford to do that. Like Epic, obviously, and maybe like Activision Blizzard and Apex.
There are a few
EA.
companies that could. I mean, I think Apex probably, from what I've seen, is like does pretty well too.
Apex is cool.
But I mean,
they're turning around. They had a rough season pass when that game first started.
But this is what it takes. Like, this is the dedication, resources, the scheduling of content, the progression system that you need. As you said, Kyle, like everyone should be taking notes, because this is pretty much the only path to longevity. If you just want to be around for maybe a year or two, sure, do your own thing. If you want to be around for several years or more, this is kind of the proven model right now. Until you can figure out something better, I mean, this is kind of what people like, and people generally don't like to change into something unknown. They like sticking with what's familiar.
And dude, honestly, the collabs they do in this game are very good. Like, obviously, they have like insane characters. Like, you just be fucking Goku with a shotgun killing Darth Vader or something like that. And it's like, that can happen in Fortnite. But some of the collabs they do, like, introduce new weapons and stuff. Like when Dragon Ball, they had the Kamehameha. With My Hero Academia, they had, I don't know like what the move is, but they had a specific move from that. And it's like, now we got the gear from Attack on Titan. It's like really cool how they take these crossovers and incorporate things from that into the game itself. And they don't give a shit if it's like weird or like breaks the game necessarily. They just want you to have fun.
I think that's an important part, is just like making it fun.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like visually it passes the visual test, but like mechanically it just like feels fun in Fortnite. And they're clearly the best at doing this. Like, I would say before Fortnite existed, Smash Brothers crossovers were like the big thing, like from Brawl and Wii U, but then like Fortnite started up in that time frame, and like as big of a deal as every Ultimate. I mean, Ultimate's had some like pretty big moments, but like it's so commonplace in Fortnite. I think that's why it doesn't get the excitement, but like it has the staying power where it keeps people coming back because they expect these big little things. Whereas Nintendo is like, I hope this next character is a big deal. Whereas Fortnite's like, this will be a big deal. You don't even have to question us on that. And only is going to be a big deal, but the stuff we add on top of it, you're going to love it too.
Kyle, did you do like the Indiana Jones stuff, like the quest for that?
That was just before my time.
Oh man,
I saw you guys trying to do it.
They had like this like ruined temple area, man, and you would go through and they had the ball from Indiana Jones.
Huber tried to do it.
Huber
got killed in there.
Trampled from it. It was so cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking of while we were having this discussion about like who needs to take notes is the recent Capcom presentation where they show off the season pass for Exoprimal. And I'm looking at it and I'm shaking my head and I say, you have no chance immediately, right? Like, you can just tell that the way that they've designed their season pass is not exciting enough. There's no like natural progression. It just looks like a bunch of shit you don't care about and costumes that are hard to differentiate. It's hard to like care about any of the skins that you're unlocking in Exoprimal. And so like, it's easy. Like, that's why I think it is nice to have something like Fortnite where it's like, this is the model. It like, you can point to it. You can say, this is what's wrong with Exoprimal, is that they're not differentiating the tiers, that the skins aren't as exciting as these skins to unlock, or even these weapons or dances or emotes. Like, they make all of those things themed and exciting and important, and you can just see where you're going. You know where you are, where you came from, and where you're going to at all times. And so like, I'm impressed by that. It's like, to me, it's why Exoprimal looks insufficient.
Because even
in terms
like
of its own season pass.
Fortnite, you get like completely new characters that they just make for that, like their own unique characters. They just make completely new characters, like wild shit. But like last season, Damiani, like you got Doomslayer on the battle pass, and you got Geralt. It's like, it's so overpowered that people can't compete with that.
I would almost like, they already have a working relationship with like almost everybody
except Nintendo characters.
Sure. That's
and Square.
Yeah,
sure. Well, they have lore. No, they actually, Square doesn't own that anymore.
But I would say like going back to like Exoprimal. I mean, obviously, you still want to like make your own games, but sometimes hindsight, is everything. It's 2020. But I would even say like maybe it would have been better for Capcom to approach Epic and be like, what if we made you a new mode for like a special event, like Exoprimal is like a mode where we just dump in a bunch of dinosaurs onto the map, and it's like this chaos. Like, I think that would have got way more traction, been way more popular than sadly what Exoprimal is going to do in its lifetime.
Well, like Exoprimal, you have to buy, except on Game Pass. It'll be on Game Pass, which is cool, but it's like that already is a huge barrier for people. Nowadays, people, if you're playing a battle royale, people expect it to be free because the biggest ones are.
Yeah. Epic could have been like, hey, we'll front you the development money for it. Like, we like what we see. Like, we want it by this time. And then we'll cut you in for like this much of like, that battle pass or whatever. Like, just like.
Hold on. In this scenario, Epic is paying Capcom?
Because they're in the development of it.
No, Capcom would have to pay Epic to be able to be featured within Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Well, this would be like
Epic's got this thing that's huge. Like they don't need Exoprimal to come in and advertise. You know what I mean?
Okay. For specifically for Exoprimal, Capcom would have to pitch and like make it lucrative. But if I were Epic, the next thing I'd be looking at is like reaching out to game companies like, would you want to make us a mode? Like, would you be like for Resident Evil? Like, would you like to make like a mansion on the map where it's like survival horror part of it or something, like for a limited like 1 month event? That's like the next level. I think you have the characters and these gameplay or the weapon mechanics, and you've had some traversal mechanics. I think, you know, kind of not gimmicky, but like new design mechanics like that would be kind of cool to do.
The possibility of that is becoming more likely in their new creative thing, which looks insane. We can build.
That's what I'm thinking of. The thing they announced. That's huge. Yeah.
So the way they currently do that, Damiani, for like, you know, like Dragon Ball Z, it's like, okay, well, you have a Dragon Ball Z map and you go and do cool DBZ quests. Kind of fun, honestly. But those are made by like people who are already using the tools and already in the community, and then they just pay those people to do it. I think that's probably how it would work, even if it's like a game design promotion. Gotcha. Even if it is like Resident Evil World, they wouldn't be Capcom making Resident Evil World. It'd be like one of those people who's already in with the tools and already consistently makes user-created content.
Because I know Huber showed me when they did Konoha or Naruto, like it was like, oh, this is all like this wasn't made by either Epic or that was made by this group. But I was like, oh, okay. Because like, dang, like how did they get like this all done and stuff? But yeah, like obviously, you know, maybe there's some like middle ground with that like new creation tool. Like maybe there will be like a corporate level where businesses like Capcom has like, they know a good community team of like fans who already do like modding, and like they just reach out to them like, would you like to make like a Spencer mansion for Fortnite, like a specific map with like the exterior as well, like make an original Resident Evil like based map or something Zombie in Fortnite's engine, and like it'll be a special map that they'll like promote or something.
You're explaining something that will happen in the future. You know what I mean? Like it makes so much sense, and I'm confident that like, yeah, you're right. They got to do that.
I like that's like what they got to be getting at with this creative tool. But back to the thing, like, yeah, it's just very impressive. Like the everything they're doing with this, like they have everything behind them. It almost makes me like wish, like obviously you like said, like everyone should be taking notes. Like even things that are successful, like for me, like Final Fantasy 14. That game's development still kind of like hindered a little bit by like the restrictiveness of the engine and the limitations. It's like, man, I wish they had a huge team like Epic has, like with Unreal like behind them to like be cutting edge with like their technology, so they're not limited by anything. Like if they want to do this, they could do this. Like 14 is clearly has limitations because of their tech, and it's like, man, like even the competition that wants to try, because like they have like the same content cycle, it's a subscription base, so like they're getting more money, but like even they can't really compete with that because they can't compete on the tech end. It's just like, you know, Fortnite's just so far ahead.
Juggernaut, dude.
Yeah,
they are a juggernaut. Andreas Klinthaus wrote in, on the 11th, Fortnite will have Attack on Titan event, which will bring Eren Yeager to the game, and what looks like also Misaka and Levi. My question, do you think Fortnite will ever lose steam and fall off? How much more can they add, and when will it eventually does and when it eventually does go offline, what do you think will happen to all the skins players have purchased over the years? At this point, I feel like myself personally have spent at least a couple £100 and I'm on the low end, still hoping for One Piece. Love and respect. Dude,
oh my God, One
I
Piece?
feel
You're
like
kidding me.
Yeah, I feel like out of every game online right now, Fortnite has like will have the longest life cycle of any of them. I feel like this game will just keep going. They just keep building on it.
And because of who's behind it, I think worst case they would just like open that up to like the community. It's like if the shit hit the fan moment, they'd be like, you know what, we can't monetize. It's not worth it. But you know what, community, you can take this code. Like what was the game that some online service game did that?
Dreams. Just shut down today. Or is shutting down.
No, someone like just gave out the code, like we'll let the community continue this game. We can't update it anymore, but like community, you can do it. It was some MMO RPG or something. They did it like in the last 2 years. But I would imagine like either officially or unofficially, the community would just carry the torch and find ways to run that game, like through private servers or whatever. Like it'll be like.
I guess Epic did that with it was a multiplayer game. Paragon, right? They just here's all the Paragon
was it.
assets.
It was Paragon. So it was Epic. So like they would probably just do that for thank you.
You're probably right.
Yeah. If it was that, then they 100% would just do it for Fortnite at some point if it ever became just not financially possible for them to keep running that game. They'd be like, you know what? If you guys want to front the cost, here you go. Have at it. So
what's funny about this question is it's happened to me very recently. with Marvel's Avengers, in which I did absolutely buy some costumes. You know what I mean? Game gets shut down, your costumes don't work. Well, actually, that game will work offline forever. So yeah, I could load it up technically and still have those. But like, you're so right in that this is the safest game to buy costumes for. You know what I mean? Like it's safer than FIFA, where you have to reset every year, or like, you know, Warzone, where it's like, well, there will be a new Warzone eventually. You know, like in terms of like the games you're spending your money in, it is like, the most secure, but also like you can't think of it that way. None of this is an investment. You know what I mean? Like all games will die eventually. And so like, that hundreds of pounds that this person spent on skins, eventually you won't care about it. I think when the game finally is dead, you're not going to be that sad about it, and you'll be playing something else that you enjoy.
Or we'll be dead by then. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will not outlive Fortnite.
I mean, if you spend lots of money in a game, you're absolutely right. Like, you just know that an online game, that doesn't necessarily translate to like, not even just an investment. It's like, you don't even like really get to keep that stuff forever. I mean, it's just it's something you were meant to enjoy. It's like going to a theme park. You keep the memories and stuff. Like, you can maybe buy some memorabilia, but like, you know, it's theme park will close down someday or whatever. You don't like it's temporary. It's like it's like that's the point of it. So I think I see that with any online game, like especially like in something more. I'm not trying to say Fortnite's less of like, you know, earned what you play, like the time spent into it, but like any big MMORPG like World of Warcraft 14, 11, which is even worse than any of those with their grindiness. It's like eventually you leave those things and you don't get to take that stuff with you. And maybe one day they shut down. It's like if you're not okay with that, I feel like you should probably not jump in the first place. Like that's, you know, that's maybe not the best
reality of especially online gaming.
I think that's not the, you know, the best maybe mental state to commit to that. But generally, same thing. Like even like within like seasons, like what's the big thing? Like when people do something in the moment and then like later on, it's like you can either buy it or it's easy to get. Like just over time, like older things become easier to do. Generally, it's like who cares? Like, you know, if you did it right away, you were part of the zeitgeist. You got it when it mattered. Like everyone, like, oh, that was cool. You got that flashy weapon, or oh, you like got like that outfit. And then, you know, when everyone has it, like 6 weeks or 6 months later, it's like, well, everyone has it now. Who cares? Like, you know. But also for people who want it eventually, like I don't like. Who cares either? Like it's what you want to get out of it. Are you doing it for, you know, the bragging rights, or for, you know, to look cool, or are you doing it for like the personal satisfaction? Like there's no right answer. Everyone has their own reasons for why they're doing it. It's just like you just need to be okay with it and probably not care as much, you know, about other things. So I get it. You have a lot of good memories that you play, like if you play Fortnite for like many, many years and eventually like maybe it shuts down. It's like, it's sad, but I mean, it's like with everything, like unfortunate morbid reality is that like almost everything has to end. So yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, Damiani, let's talk about the Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries.
Yo, yes.
You've been hyped about Resident Evil 4. We've been talking about this off camera too. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so finally they added the Mercenaries. Originally
Finally.
Well, it was included in Resident Evil 4 when it came out for GameCube and all other versions of the original version of RE4. This was added in just a few weeks after. Very quick.
I feel like two weeks.
Yeah,
right?
It was like 2 weeks.
I want to give them a shout out for not waiting forever. Like there was clearly a point where they could have waited. Like I would say even like a month was probably the upper limit of what they could have waited for this before people would probably like move on and not care as much. So 2 weeks is pretty good. But there'll definitely be people say it should have been ready day one, you know, because the original, whatever. I don't agree with that. It would have been nice, but like the game as is so damn impressive that it's cool waiting 2 weeks for them to polish off the Mercenaries. Mercenaries finally here. 3 maps to begin instead of 4. They have the village, which is literally just the village part again, so the one everyone's familiar with. They then have the castle, which is the part right outside with the cannons. It's that stretch of the castle segment before you breach the gate. And then they have the island, which is the part before Mike shoots down the gate. in the original one, if you remember that, so that you where all the the turret guns are and stuff like that. With the sequence of Mike, it's that sequence. And they don't have the Waterworld map.
Not yet.
Not yet. It might be added. And then there are 4 playable characters as of now. There will likely be more, but for now there's 4. There's Leon. There's Krauser, who also returns. And there is the newcomer, Luis. Mm-hmm. You have Luis added in for the first time playable. Never been playable before. And then
cool.
And then you got fan favorite Hunk. Hunk is back. Umbrella Special Ops, whatever they're called. Yeah.
The guy with the gas mask with red eyes.
Yeah. And they each come with their unique weapon sets. So Leon's an all-around. He's got the handgun, shotgun, sniper rifle, got some grenades. Luis has the Red 9 pistol, and bolt action sniper rifle, so the slower reload.
What's Luis's super?
So each of them has a super called mayhem mode. And there's a meter at the bottom that fills up over time, and as you do kills, and there's also these yellow orbs you can break that will charge them up as well. And then you hit in both analog sticks and you activate mayhem mode. And it unlocks a super ability. For Leon, it just powers up all his ability. It just does more damage. So he kills things way easier and he takes less damage. For Luis, he brings out dynamite sticks, kind of like he does in the game, and he drops it down, and he can shoot it and blow it up right away, or he can wait there and lure some people, some Ganados over and blow them up. Krauser does his transformation into his Las Plagas mode, his beast mode mutation. And he just uses his claw arms to just spam, tear through everything as that meter's depleting. And then Hunk specializes in a submachine gun. When you activate mayhem mode, he has unlimited ammo, no reload. So you can just start firing, just mow down everything. And it goes down really slow for his. So it's really powerful. Hunk also has the one-shot kill. When you have a melee prompt, he'll do his neck snap, which is really satisfying. He does the thing and he does a little animation after it, he's taunting the dude when he kills him. Really nice. Krauser has his explosive bow and arrow, so that returns as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah, you got to really learn how to play with these characters. They have different play styles. Obviously, there's the green orbs that restore time. So they have the time nodes. And then there's a new thing. There's 150 enemies on each map total. If you run out of time, you won't see all of them. But the goal, you absolutely have the ability to kill all of them. And it's absolutely possible to chain all 150 kills into a 150 kill combo. And they plan for that because that's how you get the rankings. You start with a C ranking, which is the lowest. It's all score based. You have C, B, A. Then you have S, S+, and S++. And S++ is 1 million or more points. And for leaderboards, they have leaderboards for this. You can get everyone. There have been a bunch of people already are killing all 150. It comes down to how much time you have remaining on how much time you have remaining and the manner in which you killed. Because headshot kills, more points. They also headshot kills give you more time. After your 10 kill on your combo, if you have a 10 hit combo, you start getting a time multiplier for those types of kills as well. So there's a lot of elements, little small details to keep track of, because it's very easy to reach the end and get a pretty decent score, but going for that high score, the maps seem very simple, but you gotta really start to prioritize. I mean, you could do stealth kills, there's a whole bunch of tools you can use, but it's about unleashing you're hitting the 150 combo and also maximizing your points reaching that, using your mayhem mode at key points where it's going to earn you the most value, a bunch of boss enemies, the tougher enemies come out. Maybe you want to one shot, save that to one shot them, so you can not waste a lot of ammo, so you could save your more powerful ammo to especially on Leon the sniper rifle. Just picking off those headshots from afar, just kind of keeping your cool is a nice strategy.
It's weird to me it works, because it sounds like you're having fun. So Resident Evil is survival horror, you know what I mean? And what you're describing is fast-paced action arcade.
Yes.
And so it's crazy because it's mostly the same mechanics, right?
Oh, yeah. It's the exact same mechanics, but like it's very generous. Like you have so much health. It's like you can die. Like if you die, it just counts your score. I think the old one, it just invalidated your run. You didn't get your score. This one, it just ends your score right there when you die, which is kind of nice. So you don't feel like you wasted your time, but it's really hard to die. And the Ganados are very, like, I think they're on the easiest mode difficulty. Like, they don't, like, try and grab you very often. It's very easy to just run through a pack of them and not take any damage. So it's very much like running gun arcade, whereas that RE2 remake mode, that, like, gas station last stand, was so intense and chaotic. Like, that was, like, hard and challenging. This reaching the end is not meant to be challenging. It's the getting the high score is the challenging part. So it's about, they want you to be able to deal with everything. It's about using your smarts and your knowledge to, like, how's the best way to chain these combos? What's the best pathing through this to, like, maybe hit all the time things as fast as possible and then start accruing more time. So that's really where the depth comes into play. But yeah, it's very simple to enjoy. I think, it's very easy to get into. Like, you just spend a few minutes on a map, you're done. Hey, that had a great time. Got a score. Each, I think, A or better, I think, unlocks each new character. And then once all 4 are unlocked, you're done. Like, they're all available on every map. So you don't have to repeat it on every single map. They made it way simpler. It's a very short distraction. Cool. And as Brad found out, and as I found out late to the party, there's a way to unlock a reward in the main game through it. Apparently, I wasn't aware of until way later. The hand cannon. If you get a S or higher ranking with just one character on each of the 3 maps, you get the hand cannon, which is previously only unlocked by beating professional mode on a new save file. So no bonus weapons. You can't use any special weapons, and you have to start with them a fresh save, which is kind of challenging. So they made it much easier to get that. So a little bummed out I didn't know about that sooner, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that they have kind of unique melee moves. Like, I do like Luis just whipping out his pipe and whacking a dude. I do like that.
That's a good point.
Like a baseball bat.
Yeah. He has this, like, wind-up swing, and, like, you can actually time it so if other enemies are charging you, you can catch multiple in them, just like with Leon's kick. But I think Luis is a little bit more skill-based for how you angle your swing. You can, like, just completely whiff and just hit one person, or you get the right angle and you just take out a whole crowd, and it's, like, so satisfying when you get
iframes the whole time too.
Mm-hmm. You're like, all those tricks are back, like Hunk's neck snaps. Doing it, like, you just run up there because you know you're gonna be safe. All these enemies trying to punch and hit you and stuff. And it's like, nah, I'm safe, and I get a few iframes on the startup, and I can just gotta aim another head. Oh, there's the prompt. You're just like, Hunk's just surrounded by a bunch of enemies, and you're just like, headshot, boom, next snap, headshot, next. Like, I just did it. Like, when I realized that, I did the 150 combo without even thinking about it, because I just let everyone swarm me, and I'm like, headshot, next snap. It's, like, so fun, but it's so easy. But it's like, it's that's how the old one was. Like, Hunk was, like, sick like that. He did that. Then hopefully, if they add in the other characters, especially Wesker, I want that Wesker dash, man. Really, like, looking forward to Wesker coming back. But I will say, like, it's interesting that they don't have, like, difficulties, because the village version of Mercenaries definitely felt more challenging than this, because you had to hit milestones in order to progress. There were very difficult versions. Like, they don't even do that. Like, there isn't, like, a hardcore version or nightmare, whatever they call them. I'm hoping
the next thing they add to it will add stuff like that.
Sure.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yes. It seems like something so simple to add on that it would be weird if they didn't, capitalize on that.
K-Tom675 wrote in, said, I just don't understand it. Why does Capcom continue to waste time, money, and effort on half-baked standalone multiplayer RE games like Resistance, REverse, or Operation Raccoon City when they have not one but 2 great existing modes in Mercenaries and Raid mode from Revelation titles that could be easily made into standalone games? What makes this more baffling is that they made a Mercenaries game for 3DS that I put a ton of time into. So my question is, why is Capcom so hesitant to make either one its own platform, or dare I say live service game? Thanks, stay easy.
Well, For something like the raid mode or like an Outbreak, that's the more baffling question. But it probably, as we said, like takes resources, a little bit more involvement, and it's like how long do they want to go on? Because we just had this lengthy discussion about if you're going to start offering a service component to your game, you know, you kind of like got to have a good plan, and you got to support it. Otherwise, people will just, you know, sniff it out that this isn't that good, or you're not going to support it for that long. For Mercenaries, though, I will say that 3D version, I believe, did not sell very well, was not well received. If you had a great time with it, that's great. I played it, thought it was a terrible port of that game. Like 3D, it was not meant for the 3DS. Like, it had that thing where anything more than like 10 feet was like 2 frames per second animated. Like you could use the sniper rifle and not hit stuff for far enough away because it like wasn't like the collision detection wasn't correct on some things at a long enough distance. So maybe that soured them on the notion. Like honestly, Mercenaries feels like at best an add-on component. I don't feel like you should make a whole dedicated Mercenaries game or even an online version of that. Doesn't seem right. But Outbreak or a raid thing seems like that's potential there.
Yeah, Outbreak to me is the answer, but that's going to be very expensive to do, which I don't know if they want to invest in that.
I think Resident Evil is fine being single player, honestly. Like I don't know if it needs to go multiplayer. I know people have like really like Outbreak, but like maybe that's best to leave it as that.
Sure.
All these other multiplayer things have just not gone well. And we keep saying, well, just do Outbreak. It's so simple. And then what happens when they do Outbreak and it's not good? It's like, well, then there's nothing left.
Well, they can't treat Outbreak like a side project. It's got to be a very high-profile game.
And I think this is what this team specializes in, these types of single-player games. Don't put them out of their comfort zone. Otherwise, they're going to have to outsource it to another team, which is what happened with these other multiplayer Resident Evil games, and none of them turned out well.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it had co-op to Mercenaries, though, I guess, at some point. They've done that in past games.
Resident Evil 5 had it, I thought. Yeah, like I would absolutely love co-op in Mercenaries. I'll take that.
Maybe they remake 5, they'll add it in.
Yeah, I'll take co-op. But like, I don't mean like 4-player squad, like where we have like, you know, we're gonna keep supporting with season pass. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
All right, it's time for some emails. If you want to send in an email or submit things to like sort it out and keep it up, and questions for our normal Easy Allies podcast, join us on patreon.com/Easy Allies. We greatly appreciate it. Kyle, do you have something to say? You look like you're ready.
No, I'm just getting my posture right. Okay. I would notice that if you've just been listening, like I've been slouching for a minute, so I'm getting my posture right.
It's easy to slouch.
You know, add attention for these emails.
This first question is from Neo JD. Allies, how are we currently feeling about Jim Ryan's direction for PlayStation? PSVR 2, the rumored Q Lite, always online mobile device, and the upcoming focus on games as a service, 12 by 2025, have me worried that PlayStation is wasting money trying to chase trends instead of focusing on what makes them great. They're big exclusives. Do you agree? P.S. Kyle, nice to see you with the Allies again. This question is fitting for you considering your latest video. That idea of the family commercial was a little too much, though. Smiley face.
So like, what we have is like a bunch of rumored hardware for looking at like the next 2 years, right? And also like no new announced games. So like no worries until after June. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like to say like I'm worried that they're focusing on the wrong games without seeing the games that they're putting out. That seems messed up to me. Well, I mean, you know,
sure.
It seems like wasted anxiety to me. It's like on a year where Spider-Man 2 is coming out this fall, I can't be like, man, I'm really worried about PlayStation. Like I can't possibly be concerned.
Like I could see like so the direction of all live service games. That sounds like a lot, but they still are going to do single player games. Clearly, like you said, Spider-Man 2 is still happening. There's going to be another God of War game. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another Ghost of Tsushima game. There's going to be stuff happening. And some of the live service games obviously will vary in quality, but I'm sure Factions will probably be very good based on the previous Factions they did. So I'm not really so worried about that. And PSVR 2, I think PSVR 2 is cool, but I just don't think VR in general is huge enough for this, especially with this thing. It's expensive and you need a PlayStation 5 to do it, so I think it's going to be very enthusiast-based. Q Lite, I just like whatever. But Jim Ryan in general, I think he's making them a lot of money right now. I don't necessarily agree with everything he's doing, but it's hard for me to get too worried about the future of PlayStation, like you said, Kyle. Because I think a lot of this comes from Kyle right now is Sony's been very quiet about what they're doing right now. Very quiet. They're not talking about a lot of stuff like Spider-Man. They officially just said, hey, we're planning for it this year. Like it got leaked that it's coming out pretty much, but like they've been very quiet about what they're saying, and I can understand people being upset about that, but I'm not necessarily worried about the future of PlayStation.
So like at the height of the PlayStation 2, they come out with PlayStation Eye. You know what I mean? And it's not like, oh my God, they're spending money the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like when Last of Us 1 is actually coming, like the height of PS3 is also overlapping with PlayStation Move and those dumb Move controllers and those dumb Move games, and half of their E3 presentations being Moves shit. And so like it's always been this. Yeah. It's always absolutely been this. PSVR 2 is just PlayStation Move still. You know what I mean? Like they're always trying shit. They're always like trying to sell more hardware and like reaching out and doing other weird things. But like that's just part of Sony's history, and I think that's part of like a responsibility as like a hardware manufacturers to try shit out and see what sticks.
They want to explore and find new things, but they absolutely, and it seems like they are continuing to do what people like about them. It's like
exactly. I couldn't tell you like what is Jim Ryan's initiative. You know what I mean? Like it all seems the same to me. It seems like just what Sony does and what they do.
Sure. What do you think, Damiani?
I mean, I can't remember where the rumor came from, but the thing I saw was that PlayStation Showcase was supposed to happen like end of last year, but some games were still cooking, and that Sony's supposed to be doing it sometime this summer. And they were saying like big stuff in there, like a lot of game announcements that this is why they've been quiet, is because they have this big thing they're waiting to do, and they just want everything to be ready to go so that they don't announce things too soon. And you know, I'm like with Kyle, like I'll wait till the summer, and like I'm hoping they'll have something by the end of the summer, where they have some announcements, like either obviously I expect the announcement, like official announcement about Spider-Man 2, but also at least one or two other first party games, like big projects announced and confirmed. And I think that will, if that happens, then that goes a long way to like, I get it. This is kind of cyclical. We go through this every few years with the company, whether it's Microsoft seems to go through this a lot more than everyone. But like Nintendo and Sony, same thing. It's like, we don't know what's coming up for the rest of the year. I mean, same with freaking Nintendo. Yeah, we know about Pikmin 4, but it's like Beyond Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4. It's like, well, what else do they got coming out? They got nothing else past Pikmin 4, so guess Nintendo has nothing coming. It's like this always happens. So I mean, I think just gotta have a little bit of like patience, and then again, a lot of rumors. Like stop putting so much stock into rumors, man. Like they pan out, sure, but this generation specifically, I feel like we've had so many high profile rumors that just don't come true, or people just seem to be more willing to jump onto them as fact, and it just starts getting reported as fact, and it's like, wait, when was this actually ever said by said company? And then people get disappointed when it doesn't come true, and it's like, I gotta cut back on that.
And honestly, what's been interesting about Sony is they're locking down these third-party games and treating them like, big deals. Like Final Fantasy 16, they're like marketing this game like it's a first-party game. Yeah. They're making this like a huge deal, which I think is really smart for them to do. They're locking down that Team Ninja game coming out. I forgot what it's called, but there's like an open-world samurai kind of thing like that. Sony is getting a lot of third parties, which is kind of filling the gaps for their quote-unquote first parties. But it's like Spider-Man 2 is going to be fucking huge. Yeah. That game's going to be massive.
You just had like God of War last year.
You just had God of War, and you had God of War last year.
Spider-Man 2 this year.
Horizon, and you had GT7. Yeah. And you just had PSVR 2 launch, which, like, if you're not into that, I totally understand, but that's still part of their output, especially when they had a Horizon game on that. Yeah.
Spider-Man's going to sell very well. I think as long as have like one of those close to those caliber titles coming out every like 18 months, I think they're in good shape.
Yeah. We'll see what the future holds for them.
Yeah. And obviously
it's got to be every 12. Actually 18 you feel. I think they got to have 2 or 3 big releases a year, I think.
Oh, like I would say there's like God of War, Spider-Man, and like give me some other ones. Like I don't think Horizon's in that same class. Quality-wise, yes. Sales and impact-wise, no.
Horizon sells a
Naughty
lot.
Dog stuff. So it would
Horizon
be
does
like
sell
Last
a
of
lot.
Us Part 3 or whatever they're working on would be the next other thing. But like GT, Horizon, like stuff like that, I think is like those need to be like every like 6-ish months in between those gaps as well. Like at least one of those in between, and then third-party games that have exclusive, like a Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
So that's like in a calendar year, that's about 3 games roughly that are pretty much PlayStation experience exclusives right there.
Yeah.
And you that's pretty satisfying, honestly.
And like we got Rebirth coming also, which is
that's also going
only.
to be like there. Kingdom Hearts 4 will also probably.
That could be on Xbox. I don't know though now because Square is not putting anything on Xbox.
I would not be surprised if that has console exclusivity as well for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, we will see as things go. Okay, this is from Chris Park. Question. Hey, allies. With Breath of the Wild 2 just mere weeks away, what's your reflection on the post-Breath of the Wild era of games inspired by it? Not just games directly referencing it like Immortals Phoenix Rising, Genshin Impact, but also games that took the spirit of it like Elden Ring. Do you feel the impact has been made? Is it too soon? Is there not enough? Did the industry take the right or wrong lessons?
I feel like, hey, man, we were just talking about Tchia. Tchia says go nuts.
Yeah.
Here's our world, go nuts.
Yeah.
Here's your powers, here's your abilities, have as much fun as you want to have. There's not enough. There are not enough Breath of the Wild likes, but I definitely think it's had an impact.
Well, a Breath of the Wild like usually seems very expensive to me. Like Elden Ring is a very expensive game, I'm sure. Very expensive. But it could pay off, dude, if you do it right. And like Immortals Phoenix Rising is definitely inspired by it, but in my opinion, they did some things wrong and didn't take the right lessons from that game.
Yeah. Immortals is more like an evolution of Ubisoft's own stuff than Breath of the Wild. Like just taking like some tropes, like just adding gliding to your game is not like
stamina meter.
Yeah, stamina meter. I mean, games. How many games can you just like climb almost every surface still? Like, although that was kind of funny in the presentation Nintendo gave that new ascend mechanics. Like, I'm like, maybe they don't want you, like, maybe they think climbing is a little too tedious and they like, let's like speed it up a bit. Like,
no, it's a way to get to the Sky Islands.
I mean, I think that's what it is, but they were just showing, like, here's a cave. We went to the top of the cave, and I'm like, and they said, like, you used to climb everywhere, but now you could just do this. And I'm like, all right, are you, what are you saying here? But I think you're more right. But yeah, I think, the lessons learned were like the joy of exploration and like, you don't need people always say like, oh, this world feels so empty and stuff because there aren't enemies to fight or quests to do. Where in like Zelda, like the moment to moment was the wonder of traversal.
Yeah.
Because you were going over these obstacles. Can I get here? Let me just glide down this. Let me shield surf down this. It was just fun to go across the world. And I don't know if enough games do that. Honestly, even in like open world, they still are focusing on other parts.
Because like Elden Ring, you're not doing that. Elden Ring, you're like riding your horse, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean the world looks very visually striking.
Yeah, it does.
But they're two different things. Like enemy encounters in Zelda, like, okay, they can matter, but like in Elden Ring, it's like every encounter can be a struggle.
Yeah,
and like
of course.
You feel like this could be the moment where something stupid happens and I die. Where in Breath of the Wild, it's like, I'm gonna try something clever. Like it was more about like physics-based stuff. Can I pull this off? Where in Elden Ring's like, can I just beat this and survive? I don't want to die.
Sure.
I would say another thing that nobody came close to with Breath of the Wild is like when I played through Breath of the Wild, I never summoned my horse because it's so fun to travel on foot because of how dense that world is. There's always a new thing to go walk to.
Yeah.
At any point, you can stand at a spot and there's like 5 cool things to go walk to. And so I think like that's impossible to replicate and nobody has.
Yeah, sure. I get that.
I'm like, I can't think of like another thing that's been like that dense.
Because Breath of the Wild, there's so much verticality, I guess. And sometimes it makes just more sense time-wise to just run. Because you'll be climbing stuff. Like you can't climb with your horse and stuff like that.
And even like, so you get on your horse, you're like, blah, 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 and then like, oh shit, there's like a little puzzle right there. Okay, let me do that. And like, get on my horse. I gotta stop. There's another little thing over there. What's that thing?
Yeah, so, exactly. And it's really not like Elden Ring, at least at the start, where you're like, you could just whistle and get your horse like in Elden Ring. In Breath of the Wild, you had to go to the stable first. They added it later with DLC with an item, but when it came out, you couldn't do it as easily.
I will say, for a good portion of Elden Ring in the beginning stretch, I was not using my horse because I did like running over to like different spots. I'm like, oh, it's over here. I don't need to ride. But then once I was like, oh, I really want to start crossing over long distances and like I want to speed things up. Definitely like felt that as well. But yeah, like other than Elden Ring, I can't really think of another game I played where I felt like, I wanted to like do that as often.
Yeah, I don't think any game has where you're like in the world and something just catches your eye. And you're like, oh, so what is that? I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
like that's a hard thing to do.
I'm going to bring up a weird one.
Please do.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is because of Breath of the Wild. And there are moments in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where you're like, that looks cool. I'm going to go check that out. That looks like a neat place. And that's what I really like is like, you can go to a town where you're not prepared for that gym.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is cool.
It doesn't scale with you. It's like, oh, I look at that scary town. I want to go check that out. It's like, you shouldn't be here right now, child.
Yeah.
I think like I'm excited to see more even Nintendo games inspired by what the Zelda team is doing.
The next Mario game.
But so like I think like Pokemon's benefiting from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I agree. They need to clean up some other areas, but I do I liked the blueprint, Kyle, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The blueprint is there.
Like they built the house with like Elmer's glue or some shit, or just falling apart.
No, they just gotta refine it. Yeah. I mean, he also said the magic word Mario, like Bowser's Fury.
Little tease.
Good point.
That evolving world. Like, imagine being dropped into a more like handcrafted now, like Mario environment. Where it's like, you don't have to jump into a painting. I don't have to like ride the Odyssey to a different like location. It's like, no, you're in like this grassland right here, and there's all these obstacles and like cool looking things to go. Is there like a thing over here, like a star? Let's call them stars. Like a star over here, a star over there. Like, oh, they're like this activity, and then like as you complete them, you see more things start sprouting up in the distance, and it keeps expanding. It's like, oh man, like that's the type of like thing I want to see out of Mario, which that would benefit from what you were saying, Kyle. Like they don't have to have everything in there at once, but like. That I think that'd be more suited to a Mario game than dropping in a giant open world. It starts expanding as you complete task and a little bit more control.
Will Pikmin 4 go there?
No.
Or is Pikmin 4 going to be stage based?
Pikmin 4 is going to be larger environments, but still going to be staged because they like the score thing, the challenges. I think they're going to stick to that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm like surprised by how many games like stayed to their own. Normal premise, like Kirby, you know what I mean? Like Kirby is stage based as well, just
but I also think Kirby, because I'm Forgotten Land was the first one I really dove into, and spending so much time seeing my nephew play that game, and the more recent Wii U port of Deluxe, Kirby's Return Dreamland Deluxe. Kirby games are really good for children. Like I know Nintendo gets that like. Oh, it's for kids, but like Kirby legitimately is the best like family game, like hands down. Like I would buy it, and I think you'd have to compromise a little bit. Like maybe there is an open world type game that like is easy for kids to digest, but like I feel like younger kids will play Breath of the Wild for a little bit and then get bored. Like they'll try out some stuff and be like, all right, cool. Like I don't think the gratification's there. It's a little too complex. I think there's a little bit too much complexity, whereas Kirby is so simple and more immediate gratifying that it would an open world Kirby game would just become. I don't think it would benefit from the open worldness of it necessarily. Like maybe larger environment with some fun activities, but like I actually think like the Mario thing I was just describing would be like better suited for Kirby. Because it could be a better Kirby game, but I worry you would alienate a large part of its audience. Because I think too young of children would just be like, where's the other Kirby game? I don't want this, which is fine. Maybe it's okay to make a Kirby game that's not meant for everyone anymore. Like they want to like let the team try something more ambitious. Like I'm not against that idea. I just think in terms of like their MO and where the games sell so well, I think they know their target demographic, and it's like a game that anyone can pick up and play and enjoy, and like it's immediately understandable what you're doing, and there is complexity. Like that final boss in Forgotten Land they apologize for how challenging it is, but I think they actually, the designers said like, sorry, I might have made that final boss a little too tough.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
All right, this question is from Parasite Paladin. They said, "Hell, allies and Kyle." No, all that. Hello, allies and Kyle. I have a question for Kyle. Are you still running? That's it.
No. Give up on running.
What about the cloud arms?
I'm out of the habit of that too. As you can see, I'm looking a little scrawny right now. So like running, I was doing actually before COVID, right? I was in a pretty much running regularly, and then like COVID kind of like stopped that habit. I have a weird memory of wearing a mask while trying to run, which sounds insane right now, but there was a time where like I felt uncomfortable even like being outside without a mask on. And I just remember like trying to breathe through it as I was running. And that was basically the last time I went running.
Yeah. Kyle, I went to the gym with a mask on like around that time, dude, and it was bad. Dude.
Yeah. Like actually impossible. Yeah. And then like same thing with actually like lifting weights to like get cloud arms. It's like I went to Germany for Gamescom, didn't bring weights obviously. And like when I got back, it's like time to do it. And then I'm just out of the habit. And so it's about like how easy it is to get out of good habits. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like it's impossible to start running again. It's so hard to like find that inside yourself and like being willing to hurt yourself and be bad at a thing and like be less good than you were the last time you did it. It's so hard to swallow that and like just like get back into the habit. But no, I'd like to get back into exercising.
It definitely sucks. Like a time where I hadn't gone to the gym for a long time, and like takes me like a week and a half or 2 weeks just to get kind of back to where I was.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn, dude, just playing catch up, but gotta do it, man.
You gotta do it. You're so right.
All right, this last question is from Andy F. Simple. Sup? Is the PS5 Pro a day one buy, or are you gonna wait? And how sweet is that rumored disk drive? So, in case you don't know, there's a rumor of a new PlayStation 5 coming out with no disk drive. And you'll get a disk drive separately to plug it into it. So it'd be like a detachable disk drive. And of course, there's the rumored of Pro. PS5 Pro.
I know. Okay, I know about the first. I thought the Pro was like the same thing, like no disk drive.
The Pro might not have one.
I've heard about.
Probably would be the same thing, actually.
I assume maybe.
Okay, I heard about the disk drive for like the digital versions of PlayStation.
Which I assume this will be like the new Slim or whatever, the new standard.
That's supposedly coming out this year. PS4 Pro presumably
Next
coming
year.
out fall 2024. Yeah.
The Pro will be a day one buy for me, no question. I will buy that.
Me too, probably.
Yeah, I buy it.
It's so dumb. Like it won't change the streams that I'm streaming.
Oh, for your streams? No.
Nobody would be able to tell, like, I'm running this on Pro. Like, nobody will be able to know, but
put in the title, like, little flex.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, PS4 Pro, like, I jumped into that right away. And, like, for performance, like, it was, like, nice to have, like, better performance. It just... I don't know. Like, I guess I was, like, convinced, like, PS5, it's so much more powerful. And, like, everything I'm playing looks pretty good on it so far. I guess I need that moment where they're like showing off footage and like, there's no way a game's gonna run at 60 frames on like base PS5 or something like that. And it's a game I really want to play. So like Resident Evil 9 or something.
Could be
like,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially because you don't play in 4K.
Yeah, I still need to figure out how to. They added 1440p, but I still can't use it. I don't know what cable I need. I have the
right HDMI cable.
I have like I have the big HDMI cable, and my monitor is 1440. I like play through it, but I think my monitor might not support 1440 through HDMI. It's only through DisplayPort.
Okay,
so I think that might be the problem.
Yeah,
so yeah, but I tried buying another cable and it didn't work. But yeah, I only play at 1440p, so I don't really play at 4K.
Got it.
I think Damiani brings up a good point, though, is like, it's an easy day one if day one is also the day Wolverine comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's also the day a huge new game comes out, it's the easiest possible purchase.
Yeah.
Because I want to play the best version of Wolverine.
Yeah. I think I bought mind. I think Final Fantasy 15 was like pretty close to around that time or something like that. Where I was like, yo, I want to play in 4K kind of thing, or like I want this game to run as best as it can kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see what comes out around that time. Mm-hmm. But I will buy it day one. I won't get the Slim. I'll just, I'll just wait.
Just in the Slim,
One thing I was thinking about, though, that is cool about the Slim, and I'm hoping it's something like this, is like the traditions of add-ons onto consoles. Like I'm thinking of like the bottom of a GameCube, where like if you peel off these compartments, it's got all this cool things you can chunk in. If the removable disc drive like slots into the PS5, that will be cool.
Kyle, I like the slot.
A dongle attached. I
assume it's going to be a dongle, but the slide would be like
like on the side, it just slots into the side. Maybe there's not a compartment bay, but there's something you could add onto the top and snap into place, just so it looks nice.
A Joy-Con sliding.
That'd be so sick.
There's just something nice about that.
That's classy. I like that.
All the Nintendo fans are getting so angry. How dare you do something that slides into the place like that? Nintendo invented that concept. How dare you?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Frame Trap. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it and writing in. Kyle, thank you for joining us.
This was so fun, just hanging out, talking games.
Yeah, it's awesome to talk to you, pick your brain. Kyle, dude, you stream. You got a YouTube channel. Where can people find you if they don't know?
Twitch.tv/Kyle Bosman. That's just my name. It's the easiest way to find me on Twitch.
Yep.
And then actually, YouTube is the same thing. YouTube.com/Kyle Bosman.
Super simple. Easy.
Weekly delayed inputs.
Yeah, you have delayed inputs usually come out, Thursday? Is that when it comes out usually?
Friday morning, technically.
Friday morning? Okay. And you stream Monday, Saturday, and Sunday? Usually?
Monday, Friday, and Saturday.
Monday, Friday, Saturday. Sorry, there we go. So if you want to check Kyle out, please do over there. But that's going to do it, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching, and we will see you next time. Later.